I think so.
Aline, you're joining us from a law library.
Definitely more books than I got.
As you do. Well, it's nice to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. It's nice to talk to you, too. I feel like I've heard you a lot on Dog and Pony Show.
Yeah, there's a lot of Dog and Pony Show.
That's what we do. All right.
Is there a tweet?
Yeah, I'm going to. And I think I have to tweet it from I'll put your names in it. Monty.
Yes, sir.
James. Aline. Will.
Is this eventually going to show up in the game show feed? Like, is this an official?
That's where I'm about to put it.
Event. All right. Then I'll try to make my map readable.
Yeah. And we are waiting a couple minutes in case a Moises shows up or anyone else from the Incomparable. All right, I tweeted it from Total Party Kill. Now I'll tweet it from the game show. And we're doing it. And my computer has not completely frozen yet.
I wish there was a way in Zoom to flip the background. Because they're flipping it. So like if I do this background,
it looks right to me.
It looks right to me.
Yeah, like the words are in the right direction.
I mean, I can read the text.
Really?
I'm not sure if geographically they're not in the right place or something, but yeah.
That's interesting.
I think it does that. It does that because there's something about mirrors that like messes with people.
Yeah,
right?
so we're all seeing ourselves
what
mirrored.
What is this? Does this look right to you guys on my shirt here?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's backwards to me. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a mirror thing, so that because people I think get unnerved by seeing a thing of themselves that's not mirrored.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. I don't look in mirrors.
That's because you're a vampire.
Oh,
That was a vampire
just
looking
straw
mirrors
all
all the time.
along.
Right, because then you could see what was behind you. It'd be like having eyes in the back of your head.
So for this background, what side are the
They're on the
right.
It's on the right side of our rectangle.
Right side of our screen.
Mine, I have
Looks like it's on
set
your
not
left.
mirrored.
interesting?
So if I lean one way, I see my face lean the other.
Huh. Oh. Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna look like we're singing.
10
along
people
to
are
something,
watching,
but-
apparently.
Watch as I play with Zoom settings.
I am recording.
I am also
Excellent.
recording.
Hello, Raven. I wish I could remember what app I use to make my map.
I'm using something called Draw.io, which is a web-based one, but they've got a thing that you can download.
Using something called a piece of paper.
Wait,
I was
what?
going to do
What's that?
paper, but if I could find my Apple Pencil, I have an Apple Pencil somewhere in this flat, but I don't know where it is. So
This is exactly why I've never bought anything like that. It's just I know I'm never going to be able to find it again.
Yeah, I found my AirPods the other day. I was very excited. Hey, AirPods, I remember you. I mean, there's a very limited number of places it could be, and yet I can't find it. And I'm not buying another one. But yes, I would use an iPad and a pencil if I could find it.
Yeah, I think I use Concepts.
So, listeners, we're waiting for one more person to potentially show up, but thank you for joining us for our special Thanksgiving Day game show extravaganza thing that we're doing. It's like Prairie Home Companion, but with more swearing and accusations and less Prairie Home Companion. So,
There were some
Wild Dan Morin
accusations about
appears.
Prairie Home Companion, as I remember.
Is that really Dan Morin? Or
You
is it
take that
somebody else?
back.
Haha. Now I'm
Hello, Dan.
Dan Morin joins the party.
We're already live. Good. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, Dan, theoretically, well, there's a lot contingent on me not having messed anything up. We're already live. If you could record your side locally for the
God,
Action
this
Castle
is-
portion of
This is an actual show.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, let's
Let's
see.
see how bad we do.
Mhm.
There's no requirement that we put it out if it falls apart in the middle.
Soggy middle.
Like wander around in the jungle for an hour in the middle.
There is no jungle in this adventure. There is a desert you can wander around in.
We might
lovely.
find jungle. You never know.
You never know. Players.
Tony's traumatized by
Make jungle.
That
jungle.
was
I'm
that was
traumatized.
the pivotal. I learned a lot in the jungle about who I would and would not take in the jungle. But yeah, there was. I mean, I think we.
I
learned
feel
a
like
lot
you
about
could have
each
guessed a
other,
lot of
and
that
none of it
going
was
in.
good. I had given people, Dan, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. So far in life, that has burned me 100% of the time, but I still try.
I think it's fun that on this game, I am the most stay on target. We have to do this correctly.
And in
The
everything,
rare Monty
every
is-
other aspect of life, Monty is like, let's unpack this. Yeah. Whoa. What's his deal? You know. All right. Well, there was one other person who's supposed to be here, but I have seen no message from them. They are super late by Midwestern standards, which is, kind of how I operate. So I think we have critical mass. So feel free to retweet the game show or TPK announcement. There are 15 people watching. Hello, 15 people.
Just
I
remembered
don't
I
know
need
how
to,
many of
I
them
need to
are
map
Americans.
stuff for this, and I don't. I think my Apple Pencil is super dead.
Do you have a piece of paper, Dan?
Paper?
Yeah.
I can no longer understand Dan or Tony.
Bill that you is the
Yeah.
backup.
Will told us about this new technology.
Or anyone.
called
I'm going to
paper.
come back in a second.
PAPR is the name of the Web 2.0 website for it.
I just cleaned a lot of paper off the
Hmm.
coffee table, but that was mostly.
Did Monty
scribbled
say
with my
something
wife's
about
notes.
where he went?
He was having trouble understanding
Oh.
us. It sounded like, so he left and is coming back.
I
I wasn't
unclear
sure if that was a joke about
my fault.
us talking about paper or not.
Yes,
No,
thought that
I
too.
think it was an actual connection problem.
I thought Monty,
Monty's
you're
back.
He's back. but
Monty,
he's
you get muted whenever you come back, just so you know.
That's a good rule.
Monty, you said I don't understand you people, and I thought that was like a judgment about us and not
then
about.
you just-
audio
No, I
quality.
I suddenly could not make out any of your words.
Well, I mean, I've been told that before. You sound like my mom. So,
Wah, 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 wah.
yeah. All right. So it is quarter past almost when.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, it's not even 9:30. Usually it dies around 9:30.
We're all going through Tony, so how could he be dead?
Save game.
Go west.
Control Alt Delete.
My internet knows when things are real. It's like now you've been that 15 minutes of banter. Yeah, I don't care. You'll work for that. But now that you're actually recording, yeah, nice try. Do I seem to be back?
Yep.
Yeah. we
You
can
seem
hear
to
you.
be back.
Right.
You
All
seem
right.
to be back.
We'll go. It's Action Castle. We'll go slow. I'll make sure I've got the chat window open in Zoom in case that needs to happen. I can also, if my internet completely fails, which it sometimes does, I can turn my video off. I don't think with the Zoom feature, I don't think that it's pushing video through like the video to YouTube. It's coming from Zoom, not from me, right? So
I think so. Yeah.
Probably.
yeah.
That's
So
my
hopefully my
understanding.
internet quality is not affecting the YouTube stream. YouTube stream, you'll let us know if everything breaks and I got to reset something. I got the chat open here. But I think we're gonna get started with this. Do I have any other apps open that I could kill? I probably don't need Slack open at this point. That's probably doing.
That's where all the
some
important
stuff
stuff
with the
happens.
internet. Gonna close my calendar. Gonna close my work email. Nobody important's gonna email me today, right? So let's talk about what we're gonna do. We are about to play Six Gun Showdown, which is a Parsley adventure, perhaps sometimes known just under the moniker of Action Castle. This is actually one of the earlier Action Castle games. We haven't run this one yet. There is, if you really like this one and want to hear another group of people do it and are also signed up to be a member of Relay FM, Mike and Jason Snell and CGP Gray did this one a couple years back. It was their first attempt at doing Action Castle things, and I think they fully admit to having been inspired by me, who took a game that somebody else actually took the time and energy to write and thought, hey, this be a fun podcast adventure. But we'll do this as if it was an episode, because maybe this will get clipped and released as an episode at some point. So James, Aline, Will, Dan, Monty, give me a thumbs up if you're recording. All right. Aline, 2 thumbs up, double recording, I assume?
Double recording.
Stereo.
All right.
Do you want me to actually? Oh,
Zoom is
it recording because of YouTube?
I also hit the record button. So,
Okay. I didn't
think
know
it's-
if you wanted me to record
Yeah,
it.
that's fine.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back to Game Night on the Incomparable Network. It's me, Tony Sindelar, and today we're playing another Parsley adventure. That's right, from the creators of Action Castle. We are assembled today on Thanksgiving Day itself to play Six Gun Showdown. Pew, pew, pew. Wild West noise. Tumbleweed roll. Tumbleweed. I hadn't really
A lot of
thought those
tumbleweeds
sound
today.
keys out ahead of time. Tumbleweeds don't just announce themselves Pokemon style as they roll across the prairie.
Yeah,
So,
when you hit them with your car, and they're like,
I
"Oh,
only know the Midwest. I do not know the Old West. So this is me out of my element here.
The old Midwest.
The old Midwest. Where is my tab that shows what order I have randomized you into? Here's the tab. Allow me to introduce our players in the order that they will be playing this Action Castle Parsley game. If you have not listened to one of these before, the Parsley Adventures combine your favorite old-timey text adventure games with kind of a party game format where I represent the computer. I, Tony Sindelar, am your computer, a cold, uncaring parser that takes text-based commands that I will parse in absolute no ambiguity. They must be exactly correct. If you give me something nonsensical or humorous that I think is dumb, it will not work. And you will attempt to solve a story and some puzzles and go west and light lamp, etc. Our adventurers each get one command, and then they move to the back of the list, back of the line, Congo line style. So let me introduce them in play order. First up, as determined by random.org, it's Will Wagner. Hi, Will.
Hi, Tony. I'm still not a dragon.
I love it. Also joining us from far off Scotland, a place they do not give thanks, it's James Thompson.
I give thanks, just not with the turkeys.
Okay, fair enough. Next up, it's Aline Sims.
hello."
Followed by one Monty Ashley.
Howdy, partner.
Oh, I love it. Certainly not going to get tired of that. And last but not least, it's Dan Morin.
Shut down /R now.
Oh no. So this is going to be fun. We're going to play Six Gun Showdown, which looks
Was that
like
a six-gun
a
shutdown
Wild West.
joke?
Oh,
no,
no. I thought of it now.
We're going to try this. I have never run this one before, so I don't know what's going to go wrong. We'll find out together.
But something will.
So
We
you've
can all
got-
agree.
You've got your play order. I always recommend that players have some kind of digital or analog device for mapping things out. Listeners, if you try and play this game without a map, it's a lot harder. I mean, maybe it's possible, but why would you do that? Sometimes when people play this in person, it can be fun to have a shared map. Back in the olden days when you went to work, I would sometimes have one of these, a map that was collaboratively made on a whiteboard. It's very useful for orienting yourself. But maps are good. That's it's a bold Thanksgiving Day statement from Tony Sindelar about his political leanings. Maps are good.
Hot takes are flying.
So I think that's enough vamping. I think it's time to get into these things. So this is, as established by the name, a Wild West themed adventure. I will tell you the text on the front of the adventure says, the disgraced former sheriff of a one-horse town embarks on a mission of revenge and redemption. Bar brawls, rattlesnakes, abandoned gold mines, and gunslingers await. Tagged Western, experienced players, teen, 13 plus.
Oh, I'm out.
I think that. Nope. No, I think that covers.
There are
you.
only 5
There
of
is-
us. Do we need 13 or what?
I think the idea is that you would be age 13 plus.
Mm.
So you're good. All right. I've already forgotten the order that I've introduced you in, but surely one of you remembers it.
It's written down on
and I know
Monty's
I'm last.
paper.
Yeah, and I have it too.
I've also pasted it into a chat or a text, a sticky note for myself now. Will Wagner, we start with you. You're fresh out of the drunk tank, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever is left in your pockets. The saloon and general store are here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town. You're on Main Street.
Look in pockets.
You find your pa's old silver sheriff badge and a copper penny. Your hands are shaped like the devil. Seems a little hair of the dog is required. Fortunately, you still have that bottle back at home. James.
Go west.
All right. You go west to the rundown shack. Where is the... Haha, sorry. Paging through a PDF. Got it. Aline, you stagger back home to your shack. Home sweet home. Pa's pistol and holster are here hanging on a hook. There's a broken whiskey bottle on the floor.
Grab gun.
You have the gun. You sling the pistol onto your hip. The belt buckle is tricky, what with your hands shaken so much from your affliction. But you have the pistol and holster. Monty.
Get bottle.
It's empty, but you have it. Dan.
Exit.
You head out to Main Street. Will Wagner, you are fresh out of the junk track, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever is left in your pockets, plus a pistol and a holster and a bottle. The saloon and general store here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
Enter saloon.
All right. The saloon is north, if it matters, though I didn't say that. All right. Drinking in public was never your style, but desperate times call for desperate measures. You belly up to the bar. The bartender gives you a polite nod and continues to polish a shot glass. What'll it be, mister?
I think
Mr. James.
that he knows my name.
James.
Buy drink with penny,
All right.
as opposed to spend a
Bartender
penny,
says-
which is different.
Mm-hmm. Sarsarilla's 1 cent friend. He won't sell you anything harder to a drunk like you.
That's fair.
He slides a bottle of sarsaparilla down the bar to you. You now have a bottle of sarsaparilla. Aline.
Look around.
You look around. Let's see here. The bartender sees you looking around and says, "You best be careful. Blackjack Baker is still mighty sore from when your pa brought the law down on him and his gang." You follow his gaze over to a table toward the back of the saloon. Blackjack is sitting there with a motley crew of desperados. There's a wanted poster laid out across their table. Monty.
Go south.
All right. You're back on Main Street. Dan, you're fresh out of the drunk tag, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever's left in your pockets. Gun, a holster, an empty bottle, bottle of sarsaparilla, -1 penny, a badge.
Sure.
Not going to keep doing this each time.
That's fine.
The saloon and general store here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
Enter general store.
All right. Give me a second so I don't have to keep clicking admit every time Monty comes and goes.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. All right. You enter the general store, Dan.
General store.
Thank you for your service. That brings us, Dan did that. So Will Wagner, Mariah Cooper, the proprietress of this establishment, takes one look at you and frowns. The usual bottle of whiskey and a can of beans. There are various supplies and sundries here.
Drink sarsaparilla.
All right. You drink the sarsaparilla. It's refreshing, not usually your kind of beverage.
Sarsaparilla.
The bottle is now empty. I guess you have 2 bottles. James.
Oh, we don't have any money. Offer bottles?
She's not interested in that. I don't think there. I think in the Old West there was not yet bottle redemptions. All right, Aline, you're in the general store.
Talk to proprietress.
Settle your tab and we'll talk. Sorry, she sounds probably more like settle your tab and we'll talk. That brings us to Monty.
Examine sundries.
There's everything you might need for traveling through the Badlands. You even spy an old white Stetson you used to own, traded in for a bottle of something. Dan.
Exit general store.
All right. Will Wagner, you're fresh out of the junk tank, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever's left in your pockets. 2 empty bottles, a badge, a gun, a belt, that kind of thing. The saloon and general store are here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
Go south.
All right. James, you head out on foot with the sun beating down on your head, wishing that you'd never traded your hat for a bottle of hooch. The Badlands stretch out before you.
It seems to be a bad idea to venture out into the Badlands. Go north.
All right. Aline, you're fresh out of the drunk tank, down to your pair of worn leather boots and whatever's left in your pockets. The saloon and general store here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
Enter saloon.
All right. You head back into the saloon. Drinking in public was never your style, but desperate times call for desperate measures. The bartender, who knows he's taking your last cent, eyes you without unoptimistically. Monty?
Point gun at bartender.
Wow.
Your hands are shaking too much to even draw it successfully due to your affliction.
Right. My affliction, sure.
Yeah. Dan?
Look wanted poster?
Spread out on the table where Blackjack Baker and his gang is hanging out is a wanted poster for one Blackjack Baker.
That just seems like a bad idea.
Will?
go outside.
All right, James, you're fresh out of the dunk tank, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever's left in your pockets. The saloon and general store are here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
So we need to make money. In order to make
Do you?
money,
That's a very capitalist take on the Old West.
well, we need
Tell it
money
to the
to
general
buy
store owner.
alcohol.
What if instead of making money, you seize the means of production?
I don't
Tried
like
that, our hands
enabling
were
this
shaking too
drunk
bad.
we're playing. Do we have to
Read-
get him drunk?
Read
Yeah.
marks.
Well, we can't use our gun until we're drunk.
No, we need to be getting this guy's life back together, not making it easier for him to become a useless drunk.
Find friends.
How did you think
Stage
Lost Weekend went?
self-intervention.
Yeah,
It's
but
the social services in this one horse town are limited.
Try
But-
typing redeem self.
all we need is one last drink, and then we can put our lives back together.
That's usually how that works.
Yep.
James, I need a command, I believe.
Well, don't we all? Look in pockets.
All right, hold on. Let me look at the list of all the things you could have. You have, let's see, you have boots that you're wearing. I guess they're not technically in your pockets, but you know they're on you. They're your inventory. You have a badge. You have a pistol and holster. You have 2 bottles, and that's it. That was totally worth the time it took me to look that up.
You're welcome.
All right. Who's after James? Is that Aline?
Mm-hmm. Enter store.
All right, back in there. Let's see. Monty, Mariah Cooper, the proprietress of the establishment, takes one look at you and frowns. There are various supplies and sundries here.
Look in pistol.
Which end of do you want to look in? So,
The
no, let me
end
do that.
towards the handle. That
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
guessing this is a 6 gun, so I can see
Yeah.
if there are bullets or maybe money hidden inside it. Is it a lighter? You tell me, man. Paint a word picture.
Monty, it's as fine a piece of steel as there ever was. You check the cylinder, and it's still loaded for old time's sake. But your gunslinger's days are far behind you.
Pin star to chest.
Let's see. You feel like you haven't earned it.
Don't tell me how I feel.
Mental.
Will,
Trade
no.
bullet for whiskey.
trade bullet for whiskey. The
expecting
proprietor
that.
says, I don't think so. This is we run a strictly cash operation here.
You
Except when we
just
don't.
said that we traded our hat for whiskey at some point.
Well, I clearly she's
That
not
might
let
have- that might have
that
been-
again.
That might have been charity.
So we
Great.
need to find another hat.
It's a hat-based
There's a lot of
economy.
ways to interpret what you need. James, here we go. Walking in circles in the Old West, as you do.
Look in boots.
Your feet are in them. Aline.
Okay, she won't take the bullet. I'm assuming we need the gun at some point. So I guess I'm gonna take us exit store.
All right. Monty,
Sorry, Tony.
you're fresh out of the drunk tank. Drunk? Why do I have such trouble saying drunk tank?
It's because
That
of all the
seems-
whiskey.
Bad memories?
I don't know. Fresh out of the Dunkin' Donuts, down to your pair of worn leather boots and whatever is left in your pockets. The saloon and general store are here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
What drunk tank?
To enter drunk tank.
That would imply some kind of jail or something in this town, wouldn't it?
I guess it would.
It's actually a tank. It's a literal tank that they stick us in.
Yeah. It's,
Oh, nice.
We sometimes call it a trough.
South.
All right. After Monty is Dan. Dan, you head out on foot with the sun beating down on your head, wishing you'd never traded your hat for a bottle of hooch.
See?
The Badlands stretch
Sure, I
out
wish
before you.
that.
We don't know who you traded that that hat to. We don't know how many hands it passed through before it ended up at the general store. It could be this is a rich small town with scores of characters who
Their
all
Stetson is
engaged
also
in
in there though.
it, all engaged in a legal hat trade. So Dan,
Okay,
outskirts of
yeah.
town.
All right. Look around.
It's pretty sparse out here. It's the edge of town. Badlands stretch out before you. Looks the wilderness looks kind of bleak out there. Not gonna lie. Will, you're at the outskirts of town.
South.
Let's see. South would be to the Badlands. You want to venture out into the Badlands without food, water, or fire? Where do you grow up? New York City?
New
York
City.
James, you may not be familiar with our American salsa ads.
Salsa commercials
ads from the
from
early
the
90s.
Salsa.
Yeah, a salsa ad that is almost 30 years old that
Yeah,
we're referencing.
what's wrong with you?
Reference
I think
not
golfer Lee
acknowledged.
Trevino was in some of them.
Salsa is basically like I'm assuming you're familiar with salsa, just not with our dumb ads.
All of the above.
Mm.
Go north, back to Main Street.
All right. Hey, Aline. You're on Main Street. You're fresh out of the drunk tank.
Oh,
Down to
we're
a pair of
fresh out
worn
of the
leather
drunk
boots.
tank.
Whatever's left in your
I'm
pockets.
jealous.
I
was
think we're
fresh,
fresh
General
enough.
store here.
fresh.
Your shack is to the west. Road leads south to the edge of town. Saloon, general store. You love it.
Maybe we can sell our boots.
We could sell our pistol if somebody would take us back into the general store.
Go to store.
Okay.
I think I've been thinking about resetting the game, getting the sarsaparilla going south.
All right. Let's see here. You are in the store and follow
Sell pistol.
Aline. Okay. Let's see. I'm not
Cash
interested
economy,
in that.
a fine.
Didn't I sell you that? Or I sold your pot, I think.
This is you'll never see a finer piece of steel, I think you said.
All right.
You owe me more than that, Monty. Characters in this game are slightly more personable than usual Parsley Adventures. Dan.
So that didn't work, huh?
Nope, she says.
Sell badge.
I don't want that.
That's not how the law works.
Will?
Isn't it?
Reset game.
All right. I don't really know if you've done
Yeah,
anything.
we don't get a
that needs to be
reset game
reset.
song very often.
It's true.
Yeah. All right. Who just reset the game? Will?
Mm-hmm.
I did.
James, you're fresh out of the drunk tank, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever's left in your pockets. The saloon and general store are here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town. You're playing Six Gun Showdown version 1.2, slightly upgraded and faster talking than the previous 1.1 version.
I shall go west, which was the command that I gave the first time I played.
Well, that's classic. It is an Old West game. This time I jumped right to the cracked page instead of skipping 20 pages past it and flipping around madly.
That's that 1.2 advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
We could just cut out all that previous part. Now we got it down. Aline, you stagger back home to your shack. Home sweet home. Pause, pistol, and holster here hanging on a hook. There's a broken whiskey bottle on the floor.
I will also issue my first command and grab pistol and holster.
You sling the pistol onto your hip. The belt buckle is trickle. The belt buckle is tricky. I'm a good talker.
That's a weird MCU fan fiction happening there.
I'm a legitimate
1.2.
I'm a legitimate talk person. I really, you know what? 1.2, I was like, I'm gonna get this one. This one's gonna be good. 8 seconds into it, this belt buckle is trickle. The belt buckle. Oh my god!
He broke Tony.
Reset game.
Pretty early too.
The belt buckle is tricky. What with your hand shaking so much from your affliction? Aline, that was your turn, I think. So Monty, you want to do anything to a belt buckle?
Sleep it off.
Oh, there's too much to do today.
Okay.
There.
I'm sorry, what?
Our agenda is just packed.
I got wander to the saloon, wander to the general store, wander back into the saloon, wander back into the street, wander back into the
Gotta get your
store,
steps
go
in,
south.
Dan. Gotta get your steps in.
Cool. Take bottle.
It's broken into pieces on the floor.
Glue it
1.2.
Oh.
Let us have it for.
Cross that
Will.
off the list then.
Go outside.
All right. Hey, James.
Oh God.
You're fresh out of the drunk tank, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever is left in your pockets. The saloon and general store are here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
Go into general store. At least we have a coin.
Aline. Mariah Cooper, the proprietress of this establishment, takes one look at you and frowns. The usual, a bottle of whiskey and a can of beans. There are various supplies and sundries here.
Give coin.
It'll take more than that to settle your tab. She doesn't take the coin.
Why'd you
She's
ask
very
me to do
judgmental.
unusual then?
Have a tab. She doesn't want to be paid for it. This is a weird store.
Monty,
Buy hat.
you don't have enough money for a hat. Dan.
Buy whiskey?
You don't have enough money for whiskey. Will.
I don't know what anything costs.
Yeah.
There's no costs on these signs.
Go outside.
Dan's a Star Trek
All
person.
right.
Everything's free.
Yeah, did I mention this whole adventure takes place on the holodeck?
Arch.
Yeah. You win. However, the Enterprise is in danger. You lose. Hey,
Blackjack
James.
Baker has taken over the bridge.
Again.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Moriarty in disguise.
The
Worf
customer
takes him
service
down
on the
with
holodeck
one bat
company
left
is sick
blow.
of hearing from us.
Oh man, James, you're fresh out of the drunk tank, down to your pair of worn leather boots and whatever's left in your pockets. The saloon and general store are here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
I don't feel fresh. Go north.
All right. North is into the saloon. Drinking in public was never your style, but desperate times call for desperate measures. You belly up to the bar. The bartender gives you a polite nod, continues to polish a shot glass. What'll it be, mister? Aline.
Offer coin.
Sarsaparillas, 1 cent, friend. He won't sell anything harder to a drunk like you. Also, you can't afford anything better. Monty.
Save game.
Okay.
This is all we know how
Don't
to
know if you-
accomplish so far. So.
Really put a stake in the ground there.
Save game.
Ooh.
Let me just write down. Dan.
Did he give us? He gave us the sarsaparilla.
I think he told you what it costs.
Buy sarsaparilla.
You pay,
I
and the
thought we'd done
bartender
that already.
slides the. You pay, and the bartender slides the bottle down to you. You now have a bottle of sarsaparilla. Will.
Go outside.
All right. Just seeing. Who's after Will? James. Hey, James. You're fresh out of the drunk tank, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever's left in your pockets. The saloon and general store are here. Your shack is to the west, the old west. A road leads south to the old south, to the edge of town. Go north, I dare you.
Honestly, I want to go north because I had a plan, but I don't know that it's going to work. Literally, all we have is a bottle.
Got a badge, whatever that's worth.
Go north.
All right. Hey, Aline. Drinking in public was never your style, but desperate times call for desperate measures. You belly up to the bar. The bartender gives you a polite nod, realizes he has your only penny, and turns away.
Fair. Well, I don't know what James's plan is.
I could tell you my plan.
Kind of not how the game works.
My plan was to smash the bottle over the head of the person that we want to bring in.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Go to blackjack.
Let's see here. Blackjack is sitting at the table with a motley crew of desperados. There's a wanted poster laid out across the table. Blackjack is idly carving into the tabletop with his trusty Bowie knife. As his eyes meet yours, he stands up. Well, well, how the mighty have fallen. Why don't you sit yourself down and play a hand with me and the boys for old time's sake? It doesn't look like he's asking. Monty?
Play game with blackjack and boys.
All right.
But I
Here
really
we
wanted
go.
to arrest him.
Dan, are you back?
Yeah.
You did not miss a turn. But you may have lost important context for what's going on.
I'm playing cards.
Blackjack shuffles a ragged deck of cards. Ante up. What's your wager?
Sarsaparilla.
A badge.
Anti-badge.
Blackjack nods and he pockets your badge.
That's not how antis work.
I know. I read that too, and I was like, I don't think that's how poker works. Dan, I'm gonna read between the lines and suspect that Blackjack knows that as well.
So his name is Blackjack and his favorite game is
playing
poker?
Poker.
Yep.
We already had a poker jack in town.
Yeah.
Also, he doesn't know
also,
how poker works, so
Yeah. There's a variety of reasons for my moniker.
He's
my
trying
nom de
something
guerre,
new.
if you will, partner.
This is Blackjack expanding his horizons,
Let it-
people.
Let's really dig into when did Blackjack become Blackjack. Flashback.
That's a different guy.
Yeah. So Dan has wagered the badge. Let's see. Blackjack nods. He pockets your badge. He deals the cards. If you win, we let you walk away. You know, have a hand of cards. Will.
Look at cards.
An ace, a pair of deuces, and a pair of fours. Not a bad hand. Blackjack asks you. So, fold, draw, or call? James.
Oh.
All right. Let's see here. You put
I'm
on
sorry,
your best
James.
poker face and
What-
call.
Oh, call. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Blackjack stares at you a good long while, then grins. Pair of ladies, he says, and puts down 2 queens. When you show your hand, he flies into a rage and draws his Bowie knife. You dirty snake in the grass chiseling cheat! I'll gut you.
he calls a
Aline.
nerdy cheat. Is that what he said?
ain't
I think
wrong.
he's in Chislin.
Yeah.
Chislin.
Y'all
Yeah,
got the stench
sorry.
of text adventures on you, boy.
Yeah. You podcasting podunks? I'll cut you
It's a little
from
known
ear to
fact
ear.
that nerdy was coined in the Old West.
Yeah.
Shoot blackjack.
You fumble for your pistol, but you're too slow. Blackjack is quicker on the draw and hurls his Bowie knife into your chest, killing you dead. The end. Thank you for playing Six Gun Showdown. And that wraps up all of our planned Thanksgiving
Guys, we only
Day
ever found one
activities.
gun.
Look, I don't
We're
have
5
family
guns
feud
short.
with this year, so
Monty, do you want to load game?
Yes, please. Load
Now
game.
loading. Load game. Monty, you are in the saloon. You're at the bar.
Play poker with blackjack.
All right. I think we allow that in version 1.2. I just gotta find the right text here. Dan, blackjack shuffles a ragged deck of cards. Ante up. What's your wager?
I'm having deja vu. Anti-badge.
Blackjack nods and he pockets your badge, giving you a mean grin, like he knows that's not how poker works. He deals the cards. If you win, we let you walk away. You now have a hand of cards. Will?
Look at cards.
An ace, a pair of deuces, and a pair of fours. It's like that one Star Trek episode. There's a lot of Star Trek in this whole
Yeah.
one. So, not a bad hand. Blackjack asks you. So, fold, draw, or call?
Save game.
James? All right. Save game. One save slot remaining. This is a significantly longer game than you all think. Says a voice from on high. As you try to leave the first place in the adventure, Aline.
I don't like when the parser starts heckling us.
It usually happens around the 40-minute mark.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, we have it coming. I just don't like it.
Okay. Thank you, Monty.
Okay, I'm gonna try it now. Shoot blackjack.
Let's see. You may be a lot of things, but you ain't no cheat. Monty.
Draw.
Let's see. You discard drawing another deuce, a full house.
Uh-oh.
This is
Dan?
way better than when we lost the first time. By lost, I mean one.
Mm-hmm.
Raise.
You don't have anything else to bet with. Will?
Call.
You put on your best poker face and call. Blackjack stares at you good long and grins. Pair of ladies, he says, and puts down 2 queens. When he shows you your hand, he When you show your hand, he flies into an even bigger rage and draws an equivalently sized Bowie knife. You dirty snake! You nerdy cheat! You filthy podcaster! I'm gonna gut you! James?
I can't see anything that's not going to result in our death, but
Hug blackjack.
Yeah, maybe we make a friend.
He just needs love.
he's got a big knife.
Maybe we introduce him to strip poker.
We chose
Make
not to play
game
the 18 plus
interesting.
Action Castle game. The game which Steve Lutz says has just the right amount of action.
Unbuttoned shirt.
Go worse than the other thing.
You, Blackjack, is quicker on the draw than you unbuttoning your shirt.
He
doing your
unbuttons his
affliction,
shirt.
and howls his Bowie knife into your chest, killing you dead. The end. That was James. Aline, would you like to load game?
Yes, please.
Do you want to load game slot 1 or game slot 2?
1.
All right. Aline, you are at the bar. You've been informed by the bartender that sarsaparilla costs 1 cent. You get a command.
Oh, I get a command?
Yeah, that's how we're playing it today.
Okay. Buy sarsaparilla.
You pay, and the bartender slides the bottle down to you. You now have a bottle of sarsaparilla. Monty?
Play poker with blackjack.
Okay. Hey, Dan. Blackjack shuffles a ragged Blackjack shuffles a ragged deck of cards. Ante up. What's your wager? This is really doing a number on my throat.
Anti-sarsaparilla.
It'll take more than that. Will?
Anti-badge.
Blackjack nods. He pockets the badge as if he's done all this before. He deals the cards. If you win, we let you walk away. You now have a hand of cards. James?
Look at cards.
Aline, an ace, a pair of deuces, and a pair of fours. Not a bad hand. Blackjack asks you. So, fold, draw, or call?
Fold.
You fold your hands, sighing in despair. Blackjack laughs. His gang throws you out of the bar. As you lie there in the dirt, you realize that old badge was the last thing to remind you of who you once were. Without it, you're nothing. The end.
We win.
Yay. we got free of our old past.
It is good to discover places where the game ends.
Yeah,
It
that
is,
was kind of my thought. Was
It's an exploration game.
I think any text that you hear that's new is information, right?
Sure.
Also, you literally have a save point like right before it, so it's not like you're losing a ton of stuff. Monty, would you like to load save slot 1 or save slot 2?
I think we should wait to play poker. I think we should get the sarsaparilla. We should head south because then we'll have a drink to refresh us along the way.
I think that the edge of town is like we need to get our hat and all that before we cross that. Otherwise, we're going to get
We
pecked
need
to death by
food.
buzzards.
We need money.
Drink and
Yeah.
Monty, I think you're
Hat.
muted, but you get to decide whether we're loading save game slot 1 or 2 if my audio is going through for you. Sorry that it's being bad today.
Yeah. Well, I liked the part where we were discussing what our goals were.
Uh-huh.
I agree that we need the hat. I just really wanted to find out what happened if we did all 3 because they gave us 3 options in the game, and
Yeah.
I really wanted to
Yeah.
see, like, we're not just doing 2 of those.
Bread
Yeah.
first searching.
I do think we could try anteing other stuff, but I would like to load game 1.
All right. Monty, you're at the bar. You get a command.
By sarsaparilla.
All right. You pay, and the bartender slides the bottle down to you. You now have a bottle of sarsaparilla. Dan?
Exit saloon.
All right. Hey, Will Wagner. You're fresh out of the drunk tank. I mean, not that fresh, but recently out of the drunk tank, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever is left in your pockets. The saloon and general store here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
Go west.
Go west. All right. James, you stagger back home to your shack, home sweet home. Pause, pistol and holster used to be here hanging on a hook, but now you have them. There's still a broken whiskey bottle on the floor.
Shack.
There's really nothing here that I didn't describe. Aline, it's a very Spartan living situation.
I was hoping for some money under a carpet.
There, yeah, like
A
you have money,
carpet?
like you have money and a carpet. If you had money, you wouldn't have no carpet, or if you had a carpet, you wouldn't have no money. Definitely one of those. Really ties the room together. Aline,
Exit shack.
All right. Following Aline is Monty. Monty, you're on Main Street. You're fresh out of the drunk tank, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever's left in your pockets. The saloon and general store here. Your shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
General store, please.
All right.
Is that east?
Let's see here. Sorry, I
I
flipped
don't
past
think
it.
it says.
The general store
It's
is
the only
east.
other
Oh,
way
okay.
that there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, north is saloon, south outskirts of town, east general store, west rundown shack.
Thank you.
So, Dan, Mariah Cooper, the proprietress of this establishment, takes one look at you at first. The usual, a bottle of whiskey and a can of beans. There are various supplies and sundries here.
Yes.
If you're asking.
I think you'll have to settle your tab first.
Editorial
Wow.
aside, I unfortunately have to drop off as to do
Okay, no
timing.
worries.
Cooking. Good luck. I believe in all.
All
of you.
right.
We'll still be here
Dan?
by the time
Yeah.
you come back.
Yeah, stop on.
I'll see you
stop
at
back
10
on
p.m.
Christmas.
All right. Dan, why don't you stop your file and we'll have you submit that just so we have that.
Good luck.
But yeah. All right. I think it's Will. Haha, the player count dwindles.
Borrow hat.
It's not a library,
Wow.
James.
Go west.
All right. Everybody loves going west. Aline, you're on Main Street. You're fresh out of the drunk tank, down to a pair of worn leather boots and whatever's left in your pockets. The saloon and general store are here. The shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town.
Go south.
All right. Monty, you head out on foot with the sun beating down your head, wishing you had never traded your hat for a bottle of hooch. The Badlands stretch out before you.
Go south.
You want to venture out into the Badlands without food, water, or fire? Where'd you grow up? New York City?
We got sarsaparilla.
Mm-hmm.
You want to venture out into the wilderness without food or fire and only sarsaparilla? Where'd you grow up? New York City?
Thank you.
Dan's not here. Will.
Hint.
There is another thing that you could potentially use to stop Blackjack in his tracks that you have in your inventory at this moment now. And maybe not in save game slot 2.
I get it.
Okay. James.
Go north.
All right. Hey, Aline.
Are we at Main Street?
You're fresh out of the drunk tank and down to your banner,
Okay.
worn leather boots and
Okay,
whatever's
just
left
said
in your
yes.
pockets. The saloon and general store are here. The shack is to the west. A road leads south to the edge of town. This is Main Street.
Tony is contractually obliged to say the whole thing each time.
Do you know how much this small unnamed town paid for this in marketing fees?
Enter saloon.
All right. Monty, drinking in public was never your style, but desperate times call for desperate measure. You belly up to the bar. You've already given the bartender your last cent. He ignores you.
This guy has great money senses. Play poker with blackjack.
All right. You head over to the table where Blackjack and his gang of desperados is playing poker. Let's see here. Will Wagner, Blackjack, shuffles a ragged deck of cards. Ante up. What's your wager?
Anti-badge.
Blackjack nods and pockets your badge like he's done it all before. He deals the cards. If you win, we let you walk away. You now have a hand of cards. James?
Call.
All right. You put on your best poker face and call. Blackjack stares at you for a good long while, then grins. Pair of ladies, he says, and puts down 2 queens. When you show your hand, he flies into a rage and draws his Bowie knife. You dirty snake in the grass, you nerdy cheat, you podunk podcaster, I'll gut you. Aline?
Jab with bottle.
You smash the bottle over his cranium, knocking him out cold. His Bowie knife clatters onto the table next to the wanted poster. Bang! A shotgun blast rings out from the bar as the bartender attempts to restore decorum. Blackjack's men scatter, one pausing to heave his boss from the table and carry him outside. You're in the saloon.
I did say the bottle would work.
Monty?
Did they take everything? Examine room. Like
There's a table here with a wanted poster and a Bowie knife. Will.
Take knife.
You now have a Bowie knife. James.
Go south.
I don't think you can go south from here. Aline.
Exit building.
All right. You're back on Main Street. Do you want somebody in the chat has suggested that we turn verbose mode off. No one
Weren't
has
we in the
done that
saloon?
yet.
Go south from the saloon. Do it all the time.
Oh, can you? I'm sorry.
That's Main Street is south of this. I think.
That's what I had on my map. So
Yeah.
I apologize.
this is a mean
let us-
parser.
Let us rewind. That was an error on my part and my
Hitchhikers
bad
all over
geographic
again.
sense. All right. James, you have gone south. Aline, you're on Main Street. Verbose mode off.
Okay. All right, so we have the knife. We still need food, water, and our hat. Enter store.
All right. Monty, you enter the general store. Mariah Cooper, the proprietress of the establishment, takes one look at you and frowns. The usual bottled whiskey and a can of beans. How many times have I said that today? There are various supplies and sundries here.
Sell knife.
Sorry, I've got plenty. She motions to a display of many, many knives. Will?
Go outside.
James, you're on Main Street.
Main Street, and all we have to show for it is a knife. There wasn't anything in the shack that you could use a knife on.
Can we steal the hat?
I mean, we could attempt to stab the person in the general store, but this doesn't seem like a law-abiding way of doing things.
Always chaotic evil with you people.
We tried doing it the right way.
Yes.
The system's rigged against us.
Maybe we
It's
should
you.
play
You're
D&D.
the system.
We should have brought Danger Town beat down. You guys are ready for corruption.
And we didn't manage to get the bounty on what's his face, Blackjack.
Mm-mm.
Did we mess that up?
I think we did.
Mm-hmm.
Did you what?
As long as we're talking, I think what the game wants us to do is ante the pistol and then show him the badge when he pulls his knife, and maybe that does something.
I will say you have not. The game is not in. There are some things I think in this game you could do that, especially if you saved game, that could trap you in a kind of no-win situation. That is not where you are right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
I can give you more hints as needed, but I try to strategize my hints so that they will not, so they'll help you, but not give you more than you want.
I think for the benefit of the listeners who are probably going berserk at this point, I will request a hint.
All right. There is an item that you have recently made very recently made available for you to pick up that you have not picked up. Is your hint.
Okay.
I'll give you a second to
Okay.
think about that
I'm
hint, and
thinking
then
the
it's Aline's
wanted
turn.
poster.
It's my turn.
Yeah,
Whose turn? Okay. So interest.
I believe you're still on Main Street. All right. You go into the saloon. I have the instinct to say verbose mode is off, as if adding to the verbosity of not.
Do not
no
make me turn verbose
verbose
mode back on, Tony. I'll do it.
Well, you forgot to turn verbose mode off. So Monty, you go into the saloon. There's a wanted poster here.
Take wanted poster.
All right. You have a wanted poster. Will.
Go outside.
Let's see. You're in Main Street. James.
Read wanted poster.
All right. You see a depiction of Blackjack Baker's scowling face on one side. Turning the poster over reveals a crude map of the Badlands.
Oh.
Well then.
That was James. Aline.
Does examine a map get us?
A meandering line runs from town and ends at the drawing of a cave. This will be handy if you ever go out in the desert. Monty?
South. Sprint out of town.
All right. You head out on foot with the sun beating down on your head, wishing that you'd never traded your hat for a bottle of hooch the Badlands stretch out before you. Will.
Gasp in shock. No. South.
You still don't have food,
just
water,
one.
or
Okay.
fire.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up? Chicago?
I grew up in DeKalb, Illinois. It's not that far.
James?
Go to the store. Go to the store.
North.
All right. You're on Main Street. Aline?
Go to store.
You're in the general store. Monty?
Show poster to Mariah.
Well, honey, that's the old Parsons claim. They say it's long since dried up, but if you're fool enough to walk 10 miles through the desert, I'll give you some supplies so you don't die out there. In return, I get a share of whatever you find. Agreed? Will.
Agreed.
You fool.
She spits in her hand and offers it to you. Deal. James?
Shake
Social
hand.
distancing.
So, do I
You
spit as
seal
well?
the deal. Yeah, that's traditional.
Spit at shopkeeper.
Yeah. You seal the deal and she gives you a full rucksack. Aline.
Ask for hat.
Oh, why not? For old time's sake. She hands you a white Stetson. Monty.
Wear hat.
It looks awesome. Will.
Did we go outside? Go outside.
All right. James, you're on Main Street.
South.
Aline, you are on the outskirts of town.
South.
All right. You are in the desert. This time of day, all the critters are sleeping underground to keep out of the sun. And here you are, wandering around the desert like a darn fool. That was Aline, so it's Monty.
I'm just in the desert. Follow
Yep.
path. Go to cave.
I do not understand follow path or go to cave. Will.
Look at map.
Looks like you should go west until you find a cluster of, I don't know how to pronounce this word, creosote bushes? Is that an old west thing?
Creosote bushes. It's a current West thing.
Creosote.
We didn't get rid of
Whoa.
them. They're still there.
Okay, well, probably it was an old west thing too.
Hunted to extinction.
The fattest man
So
in the
it looks
world
like you
in
should
Monty
go-
Python's Meaning of Life is named after them.
Oh, looks like you should go west until you find a cluster of creosote bushes.
Go west.
You head west. You're heading west, but you are tired and parched, and you sit down to rest. A lizard runs over your foot, looks up at you, and says, "Howdy, partner." Surely that can't be right.
Rango.
Who was that? Was that James or Aline? Who's next?
My
That was
turn.
me.
Might be Glenn.
Glenn has appeared.
I mean,
Tony, how concerned are you about the other game you said you were going to run in 15 minutes?
Whatever. Hold on. I'm going to turn the waiting room back on for these folks. You were potentially within 15 minutes of winning the game.
Potentially. We were potentially within 15 minutes of like getting out of the town.
Let me just make sure I let people know where we were doing. James told people to join in. That's why people are here. Hey, sabotage.
We lost a Dan. I felt we
Yeah.
needed some extra
Reinforcements.
I think that might muddy things since they don't know what you're carrying or where you are. Also, I have lost track of whose turn it is.
It's mine.
So, okay, I told you that a lizard just said, "Howdy, partner," to you.
Mm-hmm. Talk to lizard.
As you engage in a deep, meaningful conversation with the lizard, you realize that you're probably dying of thirst. You collapse and perish.
What? I was
Sorry.
supposed to take that for delirium?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Thank you for playing Six
I just
Gun
thought it was
Showdown.
friendly.
This is a challenging situation because your save game is quite a ways back. What you've been playing for about an hour? What would you like to do, team? Do you think you can make further progress in this?
Yes, I do.
Or do you want to call it a game here?
Could we fudge a save game from like exiting? We should have saved when we exited the store. Can we retcon it?
All right, we are now using Game
a
Genie.
save file to download.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Game Genie, we now can't report the save scores for this. Monty, you're in the main street. You have a rucksack and a map to the Badlands.
Go south.
And the hat.
We put on the
Yeah.
hat inside the
Ah,
store. It looked
okay.
awesome.
Yeah, your avatar now has a hat. It's great. Will, you head out on foot with the sun beating down on you, wishing you'd never traded your hat for a bottle of hooch and then bought it back again. The Badlands stretched out before you.
West.
How about just south?
Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. South.
Yes, south. James, this time of day, all the critters are sleeping underground to keep out of the sun, and here you are wandering around the desert like a darn fool.
Go west.
All right, you head west, but you are tired and parched. You sit down to rest. A lizard runs over your foot, looks up at you, and says, "Howdy, partner." Surely that can't be right. Hey, Aline, it's you again.
Drink water.
You drink sparingly from the canteen, trying to save some for later. You continue heading west, miles out into the desert. You're heartened to see a cluster of creosote bushes as depicted on the map. You sure could use a drink right now. Monty.
Look at map.
You drink, let's see, examine the map.
Excuse
There's
me.
a drawing of a cactus. Yeah. There's a drawing of a cactus south of the creosote bushes. Will. I mentioned you sure
water.
could use a drink right now.
Drink water.
You drink sparingly from the canteen, trying to save some for later. James.
Go south.
After another couple of hours of walking, you arrive at a lonely cactus with two arms jutting from its side. Allow me to show you what it looks like.
Very nice.
Like that.
Wow.
That was James. Aline.
Mm-hmm. Cut cactus.
Very smart. You cut into the cactus with your Bowie knife and catch some precious of drops of water in your canteen. Monty?
Look at map.
Looks like there should be a river to the east. Will?
Go east.
You meander down the length of a bone-dry arroyo, alert for signs of flash flooding. Speaking of water, you sure could use a drink right now.
Drink water.
You drink sparingly from the canteen, trying to save some for later. Aline.
Examine map.
Keep walking south until you happen across a pine tree.
Should we fill the can up again from the river?
It was dry.
It's dry.
It's dried
Dry.
up.
Yeah. I think it's Monty, but possibly he's frozen on Zoom.
No, I'm still here. I was waiting for you to
Okay,
call
sorry.
on me.
Glenn.
Monty.
South.
Hi, Glenn. We're still playing Action Castle. I'll let you know when we're doing the next thing. South. Monty.
South.
All right. South. You see a gnarled bristlecone pine. This might be a good place to make camp. The sun's going down and it gets mighty cold out here in the desert. Will.
Make camp.
All right. Let's see. Well, you lay out your bedroll, but you're cold, tired, and darn your feet hurt. James.
Take off boots.
Let's see here. So much better. Your feet no longer hurt. Aline.
Can I make a fire? Make fire.
You gather some branches from the old pine tree and use your flint and steel to make a fire. You build a small little campfire. Monty.
Cook beans. There's probably beans and supplies, right?
Indeed there was. Smells like heaven. Will?
Beans.
What was that?
Eat beans.
You no longer feel hungry. Maybe it's time to get some shut-eye.
Sleep.
That was James. Jane or Aline, you stretch out on your bedroll and fall into an uneasy sleep. Monty, your eyes blink open to the sight of the sun rising in the distance. Looks like you can get a head start on the day and beat the heat.
I didn't get my turn.
Oh, I'm sorry, Aline. Did I skip your turn? I read the
Yeah.
thing and okay, Aline, you're the last. Wait, somebody went to sleep. Who went to sleep?
James.
I went
Beans
to
went to
sleep.
sleep.
All right, I apologize. I'm losing it. James went to sleep. So Aline, your eyes blink open to the sight of the sun rising in the distance. Looks like you can get a head start on the day and beat the heat.
Break camp.
Let's see here. You put out the campfire, start packing up your bedroll. Monty,
Look at map. Also, I drew a cactus.
thank you.
Oh,
What is the
no.
cactus saying?
He's
Oh,
saying,
no.
"Oh no," because I realized a cactus is basically shaped just like the "Oh no" comic strip.
And we did cut that cactus into pieces. So
Oh no!
Yeah.
I'm looking at the map.
s-
Want to see where to go?
Yeah, you're looking at the map. Why can't I find the thing that tells me what's next? To the east is a sketch of a cow skull. Will.
Go east.
You best put on your boots first. The desert sand can get mighty hot. James.
put on boots.
Oh, James, you American.
Oh, you
I
fool.
didn't
no.
check the boots.
Fool, you
There's a
failed to
scorpion.
notice the rattlesnake sleeping in your boot.
There's
Its
a snake in
fangs
my boot.
seek into your foot. And after a few painful hours, you die.
I knew there was a reason you made me take those boots off.
You ever think about how often Woody must have run into this problem for that to be one of his standard catchphrases?
Yeah, his signature catchphrases. Will our adventurers ever make it to the old Parsons claim? Will they find that gold? And what of one Blackjack Baker? Will they ever settle the score with him and redeem their status as lawmen in the small town? And what about their affliction? Will they ever find a cure to what ails them? For answers to questions such as these, I don't know. Maybe we'll do this again next Thanksgiving. I think we have to end here based on time. Thank you for playing Six Gun Showdown. I can assure you there is slightly more to the game, but we spent a lot of time going in back and forth from the saloon to the general store. Let me thank our players for being here. James Thompson, thank you for playing.
Quick game.
Aline Sims, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Tony.
Monty Ashley, always a pleasure.
So long, partner.
Listener Will Wagner, thank you for joining us for a game show.
Regret everything.
Oh,
That is the game show experience, yes.
Dan Morin, thank you for playing half a game. You're welcome, Tony. You're the best.
Glenn, thank you
That'll
for
be
sitting
good
there
editing.
creepily and not saying anything.
Put shoes
And
on,
I'm sorry
Tiger.
we didn't finish the whole game. I promise we will in the future. All right. So, listeners, guess what? That was some Action Castle, but that is not the only thing we are going to do today. We're going to play a round of the hit game show that is only released on the Incomparable bootleg feed because it's not very good. 7 or C coming up in just a bit. I've got some new people waiting to join the Zoom room. So I'm going to keep the stream going. I will ask our Action Castle people to maybe stop their recording and save it somewhere. I'm going to do that with mine.
Stop
But that's right. It's not one game show. It's multiple game shows.
Put monkey on helicopter.
And let me just, I can probably even give you all a link to where this should go.
This
I am
just
not gonna
says my
upload my-
butt.
You're welcome.
Wait, no, that's a different email. Never mind.
Tony, how long do you think you'll play?
7 or C.
Mm-hmm.
It should be, it's less than an hour. It is probably about half an hour.
It's 10 minutes. It's 5 minutes. It'll be over. It's
Well.
done. It's done. We're finished.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Oh,
And people who played Action Castle, you are welcome to stay. I wouldn't mind recruiting a scorekeeper. Other people are free to play or heckle. We are, there's options. Let me just check some things here in the Slack as I am running all of this effortlessly. Also, I might go get a seltzer because I've been talking in an Old West place for over an hour.
what's that?
I can be your scorekeeper if you want.
Are you up for that?
Yeah.
All right.
As long as
will.
it's not like I haven't had any food today, so.
Are you
as
up
long
for
as
doing
it's not-
math
Mm,
or using a
much as I
spreadsheet to
ever
do
am.
math?
Convert food into math.
I don't recall there
I
being
am-
a lot of math and scoring involved in the first 7OC.
No.
Anthony, excuse me. What did you say?
Aline, I'm going to send you the answers to the puzzles, or
Okay.
not puzzles, but questions, just so that I figure that might help you.
I'm code switching, Glenn.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Very
all right.
disappointing. Very.
Talk amongst
All right.
yourselves. I'm about to go get a seltzer. I'll be right back.
I'm leaving. 7 or
Good
C
luck.
people have fun. Action Castle, that was fun.
Bye,
Bye.
Monty.
Bye, Monty.
Bye.
Say hi, bye to all.
Hello, Shelley.
Hi.
Hi,
How was
Shelley.
Action Castle?
We were
Great.
terrible.
So about normal then.
No,
Tony, I was gonna say, like, what else is new?
I think
We
Tony had a
spent-
great time.
we spent about
Well-
45 minutes repeating the same actions.
Oh no.
There
And,
weren't
Open
a lot
door.
of
Open
hints.
door.
and then we got really good for a bit, and then I mistakenly put on a pair of boots and we died. So that was it.
Not
dear.
would you
So
put on a pair
easy
of
to
pants
do.
though?
No.
Don't you hate
Pants,
it? when that
boots.
happens?
It's all the
We
same.
did try to play strip poker with the villain at one point. It didn't go very well.
Yeah. And I said,
Yes.
like, 2 minutes in, I said we should hit this person over the head with a bottle.
Yes, you
Nobody
did.
listened to
We
me.
should have listened to you.
But you were right, apparently.
Yes.
Hello, nerds.
Hello,
Um,
nerd
Do you have a,
keeper,
do you have a faux
organizer.
do you have a faux Toro shirt on, Tony?
I do.
That's amazing.
It's my favorite yellow shirt.
I brought
I don't
wine.
know.
I
Got
hope
one
that's
on order.
appropriate.
I am going
Um,
to bow out and leave you to it.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
because
gonna.
I said that I would only do an hour. So
all right. Take care, James.
Bye,
Take care,
James.
Will.
I'm
Good
gonna
to see
drop out
you.
and
James.
I'm gonna watch
Bye,
on
James.
have fun.
All right,
Hello,
cool.
Will. Goodbye, Will.
I will.
Let's see here. I think I was expecting more.
Didn't Jason
of
say he
you.
was
I
coming?
saw
I thought so.
Jason appeared briefly.
Did he?
No,
or was that,
was
me?
that was Tony's user.
I think I'm using
Oh,
his
I'm
account.
sorry.
Yeah, I thought Jason. It was Jason and Glenn and me and who else? One other.
And me.
I thought you.
Me.
Yeah. Okay. You.
Let me
You.
just-
That guy. I know that guy.
Oh, that guy.
Let me just ping Jason. Aline, have you already looked at that Google Doc?
Briefly.
You lost the
Okay, you're no longer eligible to be a player then.
Is anybody watching on YouTube, by the way? Do we have? people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I should probably retweet that. There's 17
Oh.
people watching right now,
Hey, it's all the
17
YouTube
people. Hi, YouTubers.
I'll tell people to watch.
and
See you.
we may release this on the bootleg or the game show feed. So I will ask players to record themselves locally.
All right.
If you have someone else who would rather keep score, I can always go make my Thanksgiving chicken nuggets and eat.
It's up to you. I can also keep score if you don't want to. So there's no pressure.
Tony, if you tweet the YouTube link, I will retweet it. I will encourage people.
Let me
to
do
participate.
that.
I was going to say
Damn.
I just retweeted the I retweeted it before I signed on.
I got a lot of tabs open. Everything's great.
So many tabs.
Tab's been canceled. No more tab.
Shelly.
Excuse me.
It's just Shelly.
Okay.
Twitter does not want to believe that it's just Shelly. It's like, no, there's a million Shellys. It's just
Twitter.
at Shelly.
Right. With no extra E. One E, two L's.
I think I should maybe not be scorekeeper because Raven keeps
Okay.
impeding my access to keyboard and everything. So
Let me just check. I don't know where Jason is. We do need at least one other human.
Inside a turkey. He's eating it. Get it? Snell?
Oh no.
All right.
Oh dear.
Possibly not. I see Snell all the time. He's in my daily paper, apparently, because some sports games.
All right. I somehow lost the. I know what I'm doing, sort of. I've tweeted a thing.
I'm looking for your thing.
They haven't seen.
Sorry.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I will.
I think. No.
I wonder if I
Wait,
can
where
pull
is
this up on my
I'm not
Apple
seeing
Game
your
TV.
tweet.
show podcast. I see it. It's under game show podcast.
And I
Elaine, I
tagged
don't
you.
see why not
Oh,
if
it's
it's on
tagged.
YouTube.
Didn't show up for me.
YouTube knows.
And I tagged you, so you should have gotten a thing.
Weird. Twitter act incorrectly. What's that about?
Oh, Twitter.
There
Silly
you go.
Twitter. Oh, and there are pictures of people. Don't
All right.
agree.
Well, I'm gonna run then
All right.
and try to
See
watch.
you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice to see you ever so briefly.
Yeah, you too.
All right. I think we're waiting for Jason. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard if one team is only one person. But, it's doable. So So live stream, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the game 7 or C, I was trying to do something for work a couple months ago, and I basically wanted to test out some free podcasting tools. And my thing was, could I write, record, recruit people to be in, edit, and produce a podcast in like 2 hours? And I did. And I wrote the very quick game show 7 or C, the concept of which is it's a game show, but all the questions are about 7 or C. Yeah.
I mean, when you put it
and I
like
did
that,
that,
it seems
and
so obvious.
it and yet somehow we did it. It has
And
only
yet,
been. It is
and
short.
yet.
This will probably not be a full thing. It is very stupid. It was released via the Incomparable bootleg feed, so members can go back and check that out. And I thought, what the heck? For Thanksgiving, we'll do it again. I will come up with some more questions about 7 or C. So I've done that. I can't vouch for the quality of the C's.
I feel like in the game show feed, our idiocy is like at least half of the selling point.
I think this really 7 or C really boils things down to there's the least structure around the idiocy. The idiocy is really like forefront. It's foregrounded in a way that other
I was going to
games,
blame wine, but idiocy, wherever it comes from, is.
mhm.
Oh, there we go. So I should record my side, yeah?
Yeah, I think you
I
should
started
probably
recording.
Do that.
I'm
I
on
am
tea
just
now, but
waiting
I
for,
have had whiskey earlier this evening. So
Whiskey.
excellent.
eh?
all
So
good
much
to go.
later for you. What is it, like 10 p.m.?
Yeah.
Ish? Yeah.
Yeah, just gone 10.
All right.
That's okay. This is my
Late night
this
games.
Become my regular podcast.
Of course it is, because you know too many people in the U.S.
Right, yeah. No, but even with people in the UK, I often, if they're amenable to it, I will often schedule 10 o'clock as a start time for recording. Just seems to be a good time for me and obviously for people in the States.
Very continental of you. For now. For now.
So
What's funny,
Anthony,
we-
you listened to 7 or C and thought this is a thing I want to do. Explain yourself.
I think I just did when I referred to our collective idiocy. I mean,
And I was trying to remember. It was Glenn and me and who else? Scott?
Jason and Scott McNulty.
Right. That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
It was very
Who
fun.
literally, I said, who wants to be on a podcast that is recording right now?
right
And we
now,
pathetic
yeah.
humans were the ones that answered you.
The
I said, I
first
don't know.
4 people to respond,
Right.
several of whom did not learn from that experience.
I enjoyed
Clearly.
it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
Well, and I
Well,
enjoyed
Jason did his
listening
run
to
off,
it, so,
apparently.
yeah.
I am just
Where
I'm
is that
stalling, waiting for
Snellster?
Jason.
Maybe he's eating pie or some of those
I don't know
holiday
if there
type
was
activities.
This was the one he didn't want to do. He'd run the action castle, so he didn't want to do that.
Hmm.
I don't know if there was
We're not
some
eating until
miscommunication
6
about that.
p.m.
We've just eaten. I've just
Oh, wow.
shooed people out of my house, people that I am close to, and all of whom wore masks, but they're all gone now, and I am playing games. Hopefully.
Whereas
But I
over
cooked a
here,
lot, I ate a
just-
lot, and I'm really tired right now, so I'll
over
probably
here
be a
it's
bad
just another
teammate.
regular Thursday.
forever. Yeah, that's right. Like, oh, you Americans and your holidays.
Thursday
To be
holidays.
fair, we have many, many more public holidays than you.
Right, you have like what Bank Day and Boxing Day and some Queen or other's Day, I'm sure. and-
Everybody's waiting for the Queen to pass because you get a week off or something, right?
That's
Really?
That's
Wow.
what's
Right.
anticipated.
Oh my god!
That's a great deal.
Bank holidays is what you're thinking of. Boxing Day is a single day, the day after Christmas.
Right, I was
Bank-
mixing them. I realized that. I'm just
Bank holidays are.
You were
I
thinking
think-
of a banker's box, probably.
Yeah.
right?
no,
So this
no.
is-
I was
this is-
mixing them. I was saying and not or. I was,
This
you
is
know.
quickly turned into an episode of Pants in the Boots. Perfect. We'll just
Yeah.
release it as a
I
I think we
bootleg.
have 5 bank holidays through the year, and
Vertical
they're
integration.
all national holidays.
Bank holidays are those are just normal holidays.
James is watching on his Apple TV, so is
That's
Aline.
good.
Good to know. We have. They're like, I don't want to be seen, but I want to see you people. Hi, James and Elaine. I just saw you, and now I'm seeing you. You're seeing us. Wait, how many classes? Oh well, you guys are gonna beat me because look, see, why?
Wow,
wouldn't
that's a nice
bank on
gong
that.
sound. I like that.
Yep. I like authenticity.
The Gong Show.
I have water as well.
Oh, that sounds. I like the incredible resonance. Can you hear that, Shelley? When you do that,
Yeah, that's
it's like
No,
a
but-
it's like a wonderful gong.
There is some sort of like vacuum thing going on in this cup, but there we go. That's
Oh, that's a
yep.
wow.
Well, that was a little bit. That was
That's a-
extra. I wouldn't do that on
bells.
purpose.
definitive sound.
That was interacting with the
Um,
boom arm as well as the table.
That's proper.
Literally
Dinner
boom.
is ready. Dinner is served.
Oh.
Gong. That is.
I'll try not to do it again, though, not on purpose.
We watched somewhere in the last year. We watched Murder by Death, and then
Hmm.
also Clue, which are very similar films in certain structural ways.
Clue
We
is
have a lot-
better.
Was that?
Clue is better.
That's it. I haven't seen Clue. I've seen Murder by Death. But I haven't seen
Clue is highly problematic. I felt like Murder by Death less so.
Wow,
but not-
really?
but problematic in different ways. It's just funny. It's just a funny idea.
I mean, yeah, it is a film of its time. There is no question. But in terms of just the sheer amount of jokes and laughs, I think that Clue is a much better film. I do like Murder by Death, though.
Haven't seen it for a long time. It's it's Clue is just there's a lot of complexity, and then there's a lot of things you're supposed to keep track of, as in the game. But we know they're not given pieces of paper.
Tony, Aline is saying in Slack that she can rejoin if we need her for a scorekeeper.
We really need a player more
We
than
need
a
a player.
scorekeeper. But Aline, if you
Okay.
want to come back and hang out and scorekeep, that's also totally good.
I think she was going to go. Eat,
I was
so
going to
that's
give
the other.
Jason 5 more minutes. Well, Aline said she's available to come back.
Oh,
That was, so.
She's seen the list. She's seen the big board.
She knows all
Hi,
the
everybody.
results.
Welcome to our live stream where you see behind the scenes how organized and how together we have
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
Have you texted Mr. Snell?
I have messaged him via Slack. I don't think I actually have his. I don't think I've ever texted him.
Oh, I know how to reach that guy.
Yeah, maybe there was.
Get him, Glenn. Get
Let me
him.
see here.
He may have. I don't know. I know Thanksgiving is tricky in that there's cooking and family.
I
things,
mean,
but
like families and cooking and all those things.
my dad came to my porch, handed us a Pyrex thing, and said goodbye. That was my
Nice.
family interchange this morning.
Wow. In the member Slack, listener Kate has just posted her map that she made of the Action Castle.
It's
during-
very nice.
Oh my goodness. It's like,
Wow.
that's amazing.
I need to see
It's-
that.
Far better.
Yeah, listener
quality
Kate
than-
has, I think, done art for some of the total for
Oh.
like UK TPK things at times, and they
Oh,
were
okay. Right.
quite good.
Yeah. Wow.
Jason
That
is not available. He says.
Oh no.
Oh
He
no.
is Seven or
wow,
Snell.
what's
We'll have to
that?
go on without him.
All right, let me just see if I can rustle up one more player.
Howdy,
Otherwise,
partner.
we've just figured about it.
Surely somewhere out there.
Russell, a partner. In some time zone. We're not eating until 6, so it's pretty easy for us. I'm just lazing around, lazing. Oh,
well,
Tony,
and
you
you're
should probably.
dinner.
six is further away from you than it is for me. Six
That's
is
true.
like 2 hours from now for me.
Tony,
We're
you should
just like
at
chilling.
you should at channel probably, Tony.
You're right. Thank you.
I'm
Glenn.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
I
no,
wrote a
no.
book about it.
No, that was my actual thank you voice.
All right.
I just sound
I
like
mistook it for
an
sarcasm.
ungrateful jerk. Well,
No, I felt bad for trying to.
there's a bunch of people at my work who don't understand sarcasm, and they think I'm like just super optimistic about everything.
Oh, that's
Those
great.
people are adorable.
That's wonderful.
What a world they live in.
I just.
All right, I think
See,
we've
my
recruited
work-
a Kathy
Oh,
Campbell.
look,
Yay!
a wild Kathy
Hey.
appears.
See, my
Uh,
workplace is full of incredibly optimistic people, and they think there's something wrong with me.
How have they not been crushed yet? What's wrong with them?
I know I'm working on it.
It's good.
All right,
Zoom is not helping. I mean,
listeners, we are recruiting Kathy Campbell to join us as our
Yay.
fourth
Very
player
own
for
unicorn.
7
A unicorn appears.
Players who are here, please get ready to record.
I've been recording
already.
I'm gonna
Been
stop.
doing that for a
recording,
while.
I'm gonna stop that.
I clicked the
Recording
button
is at
now.
8 minutes and
Sorry.
40 seconds.
I
That
just
was
hit my
beautiful.
split.
It's
Mm.
beautiful.
Right?
Oh, I forgot about split. What's wrong with me?
We'll give Kathy a second to appear.
Am I
Kathy
loud
says
enough?
I have
How
no
do
idea
you
what I'm
make a
doing.
unicorn appear? Is there some sort of spell that we should try?
Glenn,
or...
you could be louder, but you're fine.
Okay. I'm using a mixer thing, so sometimes I'm not quite as.
Your thing.
But it's fine.
I'm gonna like. Okay, there we go. Hey, look, it's a boom arm.
Hey.
All right.
Look how fancy
mine's
I
mine's
am.
out of sight here, isn't it? Yeah. You can
That's because you're
just see the top
fancier
of it.
than me. I need to
Just see the
rearrange
top.
things. Yep. So if I go like that, I can move it, but then, oh well, it's complicated.
Updating my book on Zoom. What's confusing is they've added the ability for a host to spotlight up to 9 people now, but you can only pin 2 people. And then on Thursdays, you can. It's really
What does spotlight mean and pin? I don't even know these terms. I mean,
spotlight. A host can spotlight people, so everyone has to see only those people.
oh,
You
Kathy!
can pin someone's
Hey,
picture.
Kathy
Hello!
Campbell.
Yay!
It's a unicorn. Hooray.
Kathy.
Kathy, you're
You're
muted.
muted,
A
Kathy.
unicorn.
And you will, yes, we will want you to record your side. But thank
Okay.
you for joining us on
Right.
Zero Notice for a
Zero
game show.
or
You don't know how it
free.
works yet.
She's
As
going to
a
win, though. That's how
witness-
these things go.
Yeah, I've got nothing on my face. It's fine.
You look fab.
Good.
We all look
Hi,
fab.
friends.
All right,
Hi,
Shane.
friend.
Clearly, I did
Kathy.
not
Hi.
clean up my backdrop.
Okay. No one knows how I live. Listeners, if you're just tuning in now, that's
so
very
sorry.
fortuitous. You missed 20 minutes of stalling. We
I'm gonna
are
start-
about to play the hit game show that may or may not ever be released on the game show feed, a game show Tony has invented called 7 or C, which is a game show where all questions are about 7 or C. It really that covers a lot of it. Everyone is recording, so I think we will start the game in a second.
Well, now I
7 or C, 7 or C.
C.
It's all time to play.
Seven, seven, seven,
Seven or
seven, seven, or
Seven or
C.
C. Seven.
It's a-
Seven.
Welcome back to the second ever and possibly last ever episode of 7 or C. I'm
You
your
said
host,
that
Tony
last time.
Sindelar, and we are about to
Promises,
play
promises.
the second ever and possibly last ever game, 7 or C, a game show that needs not exist. That's right. What if there was a game show where all the questions were either about 7 or C? And what if there were really only like 6 questions total, and this was basically just a thing for people to be silly around for, I don't know, 35 minutes? What do you guys think? That's about what I got left
Sure.
in me.
Sure, why
Yeah,
not?
all right. Allow me to introduce our players. I have used random.org to create 2 quick teams of 2.
Ooh.
Starting off in team 1, it is Anthony Johnston. Hi, Anthony.
Hello. Yeah, I've noticed like both times you've done this, you've said this could be the last episode. So clearly that's going to be the shtick. Every time you do this, it could be the last.
I never repeat myself. All of my statements are each original and authentic. And yeah. Also joining Anthony on team 1 is Shelly Brisbane. Shelly, welcome back to
Thank
7
you.
or C.
I'm embracing the fatalism. This is my second and last appearance. I swear
Mm.
it is.
Over on team 2, it is Glenn Fleischman.
Looking forward to the next episode of 8 or D and so forth.
Mm. And joining Glenn on team 2, it is Kathy Campbell.
Hello, I'm here. Team 2, number 2.
In the spirit of 7 or C, I have looked at your names and calculated how many C's and 7s you have in your names.
Uh-oh.
Team 2 has come out on top. So team 2, ironically, will get to go first in this
Ooh.
game.
Out of
So
curiosity,
team
how many
2
7s or C's do we have? My count is 1. Is that correct?
well, 2.
It's 1-0.
One.
Yeah.
One between, one.
Yeah.
I had to look really carefully at how Fleischman was spelled, but yeah, my count was 1 to 0.
Thank you. All right.
I am so glad I could contribute a
thank you,
point
Kath. You already
or
got us
some
ahead
sort
of
of like positive anything to this game. So I'm ready.
All
Let's go.
right.
Let's take
Without
it.
Kathy, it would have been 0-7-0 C's, and it's like
Whoa.
I'm not sure if that's actually. I don't think we can report those scores
Holy
if
cow.
that happens. The governing body of this game, of this sport, is very serious.
Mhm.
So, Glenn and Kathy, you have control of the board. You've got the classic conundrum, a real prisoner's dilemma in front of you. 7 or C.
Oh, I think we got to go for C.
You can converse amongst
Don't you
yourselves.
Yeah. I was, we started out strong. We've got 1 C. So I say we stick with C.
I
I
say
think
C.
that yeah.
All
C,
right.
please.
PC.
Sticking with C. Question 1 of 3 in the category of C. The CDC is recommending people avoid the 3 C's for mitigating COVID-19. What are the 3 C's? You can take a moment to converse among your team before submitting your 3 C's. There are 3 points on the board here available for this first question.
So we're supposed to,
Contact,
contact coughing.
That's so specific. Well,
3 C's.
Crowds
Okay,
Coughing,
I can see
crowds.
that.
and church. Oh, no, I didn't say that. Supreme Court. Don't get the Supreme Court bailiff to take me away.
Okay, so definitely contact.
Contact. I think crowds seems right?
Yeah.
Or a community spread.
Yeah, I think
Gotta use the spread there. Make the spread.
well
happen.
because I think
Lots of different
crowds implies too many
People, right?
people to where like even 2 people is bad if you're really close together. So I like but community. Oh, this is really hard.
All
You're
right,
supposed to avoid
2. I think I need some final answers here. I think you've got
see.
a couple things, a couple potentials. What do you got for me? Give final answers.
Are we
3
thinking
C's to avoid.
Closed spaces.
yeah, close contact, closed spaces, and coughing.
And
I'll
coughing.
go. I'm going to defer to the
Or
C leader.
coffee.
I'm going to defer to you.
All right.
Okay.
I will tell you, coughing is not one of them. I'm going to give you credit for the other 2.
Okay.
Your phrasing of them was slightly off, but the 3 C's the CDC wants you to avoid. It's kind of hard to say. Crowds, close contact. That is a single C with 2 C's in it, and confined spaces.
Okay.
Oh, that's a really bad rubric they came up with there.
Crowds would have been a
Means
very
everything.
good C word if we had
Yeah,
been
but
thinking, because that
Confined spaces.
community. Okay.
Now
Well,
we've
we were
lost-
close. Good job. We got 2.
Woo, we've lost Katoni though.
I know. Well, I was trying to like distract and, let's have the conversation about us.
We're in charge of this game now.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, your question
run
is
the game.
Yeah.
Right.
7.
All right. So the CDC has 3 guidelines about
How many of these guidelines have we adhered to today? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Doing good.
All
Doing
3.
good. All 3.
I've been
Right.
confined to a small space.
I've
for a
not coughed. Oh
long
wait,
time.
there was one time I coughed. But there weren't any people
Long
around. So
20 crash. The 4th C is crash. It's
Fourth
Tony-
C
Oh,
is
there's
correct.
Bob.
Oh no!
goodbye,
Glenn is
Tony.
the host
we're
now.
doomed.
Oh,
Probably
that-
ever.
And welcome back to 7 or
Chaos
C.
reigns.
The game
We're
in which
left alone without our game master.
Our 4th
What
C is
will we do?
chaos.
in each round we
Right.
lose 1 contestant. That's what the C is for. We start with 5. Start with 7.
I'm telling you,
Two were
the
eliminated
odds are
before the game
brutal on the
started.
COVIDs. They really
And,
are.
that's right. This is just a metaphor for this year.
Exactly.
As the game progresses, there are fewer
Yeah.
and fewer of us.
2020 takes 1/5 of you out
That's
at
right.
any given moment.
And the
C
last
is for
person has to
chaos.
answer all the
20%.
questions. Last
Oh.
person has to come up with more questions. 7 or
He's
C.
probably writing questions right now.
And you
That's
have to
probably what
answer
he's
in the
doing.
form of a 7.
7 deadly sins. 7.
Seven.
Why
seven,
sevens?
seven.
Anthony,
Is
have you
it-
studied myth in your writing career? Isn't there something about 7s in mythology?
Did you
It's
say
sort of
meth?
something-
Did he study meth?
No, that's not. It's a different form of study for.
Well, he did say
Yeah, I
my
was
writing
thinking-
career. I mean, that's probably more likely than studying mathematics. To be honest.
They call it. No, they call it meath. It's not. It's called meath, like
Meath.
methane.
Mythos.
Not
Actually.
called me.
Moon started laughing when they said methane on a program we were watching. I'm like, that's just how they pronounce it over there.
But we don't. Right, but the abbreviated form is not called meath. No.
I'm glad to know that.
7 is an interesting number because it is one of the 2 most common numbers people will answer with if you ask them to pick a number between 1 and 10.
Oh, that's fascinating.
The other one being 3.
I would have
3 and
guessed
7
three.
are the
7
most
is
common
fun to
numbers.
say. Like I like if I
Uh,
have a larger choice than that, I often say 37. I find that a fun thing
Seven
to
ha-
say.
7 has a lot of biblical significance.
Mhm.
7 deadly sins, 7
True.
seals, all that sort of stuff. And 7 is also the age at which cognitive scientists believe humans start to become aware of the self.
You have a lot of 7 facts. I understand how
He
you're playing
does.
this
He was
game.
prepared
This
for
is
this
pretty
game.
amazing.
I feel like he's gonna wait. He's on my team. I'm all
You're
about it,
Ringo.
Anthony. You go right ahead.
Did I tell this story the last time we played the game?
This is not research for the game. This is just
pretty
random
good.
crap that I
Just random knowledge you have.
over the
I'm
years
impressed.
of being a writer and doing research.
When are you going to be on Richard Osman's House of Games then? It's like, good. That's what helps. If I tell the story the last time we did 7RC, which was that I was in Europe a couple decades ago, and there were signs for concerts all over the place, and they said on them, the albums was still in that transition time. It said LP, CD, or K7. And I would look at K7. I was like, what is K7? I was in Italy. It was K-setta. It was perfect.
Yeah.
There's my 7 anecdote.
Well, that's
But
more
yeah,
than
no,
me.
but-
I don't have one.
I don't think I do either.
Oh,
I mean, I
no.
probably
Do you
could
have
come
a
up with one after a
what is-
while, but
My head is just
seasick?
full of random crap that I have discovered during doing research over the last 30 years. It's
good.
it just
That's
the
how you win game
amazing
shows.
random stuff that you learn is incredible.
Oh,
And none
I-
of it is
sure.
useful at all.
I've been
Well,
studying
it
for
was useful for this.
Right,
This
that's why we have game
conversation
shows.
is very useful, and yeah.
I've been incidentally studying up on UK trivia, so the next time you do a UK random pursuit, I'll be ready.
Oh, you can see actually there in the background there
Oh,
that
there it is.
on that shelf in the back, that is an original UK edition of Trivial Pursuit, the very first UK edition that I purchased off eBay. So next time we do UK Triv, that is the version that we'll be using. No, it's like 1982 or something.
nice.
Wow.
Does Erica
that
know
is-
about this? Because she might
version will
come
be-
and swipe it from you.
I think I mentioned it, yeah.
But
yeah,
I
that's
think
the
you
version
need
we'll be
to
using next time.
you need to tell us a little bit more about the items on your other shoulder, because I need to know when the Tempest project is coming to the US. Because
Very nice placement there, by
Uh,
the way.
That depends on the US publishers.
I know. So I know you have no control over it, but I'm still going to complain and beg and argue that I need to know what happens next.
You can get you can actually get the paperback via Amazon. They will import the paperback from the UK.
Okay, that's good to know, but I won't read it. I don't read physical books anymore.
That's the problem. You
Oh,
can't
look
get
at
an
you.
ebook in the US. Yeah.
Yeah.
You and your
so
screens.
maybe I can get a TaskRabbit to like scan each page into a PDF, and then I can read it on my Kindle. That will totally work, right?
And then there will be a US edition, which you can resell, providing royalties to the author, of course.
I'm sure that would be totally legal and not.
No,
at
I didn't.
all
I didn't say anything about
concerning.
legal. I'm
Nope.
just offering a technical option, in which I included royalties to the author. So
Well,
Absolutely
right.
legit. Yes.
Yes, I would never do such a thing.
No,
because then I
of
would
course
get in
not.
trouble, I'm sure. And I don't like getting in trouble. I don't
No.
like
Really?
doing anything wrong.
there's a unicorn in trouble. Oh no!
Oh
Yeah, my Zoom background is just because I've been doing, obviously this year 2020 I've been doing a lot of online interviews and lectures and workshops and stuff like that. So
That's great.
it's all a bit,
If I were room
Tidy.
raider,
you should see it just there, just beyond the bounds of the camera. You should see the mess.
If I were the room raider account, I would give you 10 out of 10 because it's well
Actually,
lit.
I tell a lie. On that side, it's nothing but wall.
Oh, that's
It's a very small study.
See, sometimes I do a background, and sometimes I forget, and I'm like, okay, they can just deal with the office, and
actually,
nobody's
it's
ever asked me about the rhino or the leopard in the background or anything, and it makes me sad.
no. Wait, there's a rhino and a leopard? Oh my goodness.
Oh, now I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
See, I guess I'm in the way of them. They're just a stuffed melanistic leopard and a stuffed rhino, which I thought.
I love
But
it.
I realized that I've put myself in front of them, so they're not as cool as they. And they're certainly not as cool as books in the background. But
Right.
Boxes of floppy disks. Those would be good too.
well,
I date myself. No, Anthony, the thing I like is you've developed, it's very hard to find somebody who's got angular depth behind them because we're all set up in some kind of rectilinear space. So actually having a vanishing point is
Yeah, that's pretty
great.
nice.
It's like a lot more interesting
great
to look at.
it's fun to
really
look at.
nice.
You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
Real
Impressive.
quick, Glenn, is Anthony in the waiting room at all? Now, I don't know if you
Oh, wait.
know much about Zoom.
Who's James is in the waiting room? Who's James? Should we admit James?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it
Is that
James,
James?
Thompson?
I'm
James?
admitting
James
him.
Thompson
Oh,
said he
probably.
Is that James Thompson?
Ah!
I know it's James Thompson. Hey!
You seem
Welcome.
to be having so much fun having a little chat. I wanted to join in.
Oh, good.
Well, we're
Welcome
happy to
7
have you. Can you run a game show, please? Because we need.
Might be difficult on spec, but
I mean,
called-
Just
really,
make
could
some
it be
questions
any-
up.
we
Could
call
it
it
be any more complex than
Four-
Four?
42
Oh no,
or
Jason's
Call
here
it
too.
4 or 2.
Oh, there you go. Everybody
42
but the
or-
guy with the questions.
42 or H is what I want to call it.
Hello.
Hello,
Oh.
Tony.
I
back.
stepped in because I thought you were just never coming back. So
Is that how this works?
He was really sick of hearing us
I disappear
babble
for
on.
7 minutes and people seize control of my game show. Where your
Seize
loyalty?
control.
We were
Nice.
super fascinated. we were
7
filling
minutes
time.
and seizing control. I
Mm.
like it.
Right.
Tony, real
Reference
quick,
acknowledged.
would you check your mic?
Oh, yeah, your input may be incorrect.
oh yeah, you probably.
How about now?
Oh, much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, that's
Well,
not
let's
We
lose
look out for
tone.
Now
each
I'm
other
a
here on
professional
7C.
podcaster because I can tell when
Right?
somebody's on the wrong.
Did the YouTube stream continue through all that? I guess
think
it
so.
yes,
yeah.
it did.
It's
That,
been-
I was
Amazing.
watching
So
in
because
the
we
other room.
filled, we babbled in
Oh.
quite
Oh,
a
yeah.
semi-intelligent way, and
We
you know.
promoted Anthony's
we
book.
Well, that was
We
exciting. My internet was
discussed
just bad for
Glenn's
5
Zoom.
minutes. I tried many things to fix it, none of them worked, and then waiting worked, and I'm back. So
everyone's doing
Everyone
Zoom
good?
calls today.
So
Everyone's doing Zoom calls.
obviously, what I didn't do in that round was give Team One a chance to steal any of the points before giving them the answer, but they do have control of the board now because that's how this works in this game. So, are we ready to continue?
So-
James, you're just here now.
I'm here. Do you want me to score keep or?
Yeah. All right. So far, Team Two has 2 points.
Okay.
All right,
And
you got
team
that?
2 is Kathy and Glenn, and
Team-
team
Was
1
that
is
4
Anthony and
points?
me.
2 points.
2 points. No,
100
team 2 have
points.
got 4 points. I've decided.
No.
Hey, wait!
Yeah.
You're supposed to be. You're
Get
supposed-
out of here! What?
This
Who
is-
let him in?
This is
I
some
like James.
amateur calculating. What is this? We just let
Chaos.
random Scottish people wander in and add things together.
Right? That is not cool.
Cross-border hostilities.
All right. I promise that I will probably let teams steal other points, but also there's probably going to be more options for potential right answers, making that more possible for later questions. So, Team 1, the classic conundrum: 7 or C. You can confer amongst yourselves if you'd like.
What do you reckon, Shelley?
Let's try 7. What do you think?
Yeah, well, they did C's. Let's do 7s.
Sure.
All right.
Hey, wouldn't it be a bummer if everybody just did C's and Tony didn't get a chance to
I
ask
know. They'd be like,
any
I'm out of
his
C
7
question or 7.
There's only 3 sequences.
Noted.
All right. On December 19th, 2019, there were 7 uniformed branches of the Uniformed Services of the United States of America. Name them.
Army, Navy, Air Force,
You-
Marines,
you-
Coast
You can
Guard.
confer amongst yourself.
I'm just listing.
Okay.
I've got 5.
Yeah, so that's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. Did Space Force exist by December last year?
2019, but they would have been part of the Air Force, I think, still. But that is a good one.
I was just thinking that might be
branches.
the catch, you know.
Maybe, but we still need another one. Uniform. Not the Marshal Service, not the Secret Service.
What are they? The Home Guard, whatever they're called. We called them the Home Guard.
Border, but Border Patrol isn't.
No, that's not what I meant. No, the do you know, now I'm wondering if I just made it up.
You made it up, Anthony.
That's
You're
what
right.
authors do, isn't
The
it?
challenge
Because-
of being an accomplished science fiction writer is
Yeah,
you're
right,
you're
you have
half
to-
in
You totally
reality.
just made up a
Is
couple of
diminished.
branches of the. I
No,
would
don't-
like to
don't
think
you
the
have
Space
like
Force
a
exists.
a
but-
sort of home militia, state militia type.
Well, National Guard, but those are all
National Guard,
individual
that's the-
states.
I did
Right.
feel a little bit bad when I saw that a non-American was going to get this question, but
I
know, right?
not
National
not that bad.
National Guard is not a thing. It's like each state has its own version.
So it's
of
called the National Guard, but it's not a national organization.
That's accurate.
Right.
That's
I'm-
That
correct.
is
Welcome to
so
America.
America. Do not ask me to
Hey,
explain America.
whoa! Let
We
us talk
par-
about your Premier League, which I now know about.
Yes.
We still need a 7th
Oh,
one. even
oh, you
if
want to
it's
go there?
ridiculous.
How about world champions for the Super Bowl?
All right, y'all fight about football while
World
I try to
Series.
think of another uniform branch of the military.
I know, nice
Uniform-
stalling tactic.
So Team 1, I think you've got several points there. Do you want to see how those turn into from potential points into
I
real
mean,
points?
Have you got any
considering that I
last-minute-
don't considering that I don't have any other ideas, I'm happy to include National Guard. I don't think it's one, but I'm happy to include it because I don't have a better idea. So that's 6.
Well, it is no. I mean, ICE is uniformed, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, well, Border Patrol. So it would be Border Patrol, be uniformed.
All right. Well, let's say them instead of
that's-
National Guard. But yeah, other than that,
Sure.
nothing.
I don't think it's going to be right because it's not the military, but wait.
oh, that's true. But neither's National Guard, so
I know, but we're going to say it anyway because I don't have any better ideas.
I will
Okay,
tell you,
all right.
the ones you haven't named, I was unfamiliar with.
Right. So we had
those.
Army,
All
Navy,
right.
Air Force, Marines,
looked them
Coast
up.
Guard, National Guard, and Border Patrol. And I know we missed some.
All right. I believe that you have gotten 5 points for Team 1. 1 for Army, 1 for Marine Corps, 1 for Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. The 2 other, that's 5 out of 7. The 2 other, I will not tell you what they are in case Team 2 knows what they are. There's 2 other ones. I will give you a bonus point if you can name the 8th uniform service added on December 20th, 2019.
Well, that would
surely
be
that was Space Force.
Space Guard.
There you
Space
go.
Force.
So that is 6 points for Team 1. Team 2, do you have any idea what the other 2 uniform services are? Hint, Tony was unfamiliar with them until recently.
Uniform services.
It may not be a hint, but it's
I mean,
true.
the Secret Service is not uniformed. The
Yeah.
Custom and Border Patrol is not a military. It's when you say military,
But it
The
wasn't
uniformed service.
Yeah,
uniform service. But they already said you didn't say.
Uber
Did
Eats.
they say Custom and Border Patrol or no? Customs and Border Patrol.
Marines was one of the answers you submitted, Anthony.
Tony, did they say Custom and Border Patrol? Was that one of the answers that they gave?
I believe that was one of the answers they submitted
okay.
that was
All
not
right.
correct.
Okay. Boy, I'm trying to think what other uniformed.
No, so we got to make sure it's going to be not necessarily something that's military, but that
Right,
is
but
still
uniformed.
uniformed.
This is a valuable learning experience. I spent
See,
some time on a Wikipedia page. Now
That
you
makes me
can
wonder-
too.
Uniformed.
That makes me wonder if USPS would qualify, but surely Tony's heard of that.
That's a
No,
quasi
but not as uniformed. I like that answer. Thank
That's
you.
a,
Anthony. I
quasi
think-
governmental agency. Is what it
Yeah,
is. It's a-
yeah. I like the idea of USPS, and then it's going to be another random.
Not the USPS.
I think I should give myself points here.
Mm.
Not
Oh,
the-
did you figure it
no,
out?
James- James, there's very
Is there
little
a ghost
oversight
in the
here.
machine.
Yeah.
Giving
All right.
himself points.
Team
I got-
Team
I got
2,
nothing.
I'll tell you,
Let's
you're
say
not even
Postal
close.
Service, just
James?
the Postal
I
Service
would-
inspectors. The
No, I would say it is the United States Public Health Service Commission Corps.
Why do you
Oh.
read that in a way like you're reading it off a Wikipedia page?
there's
Also,
a-
I can see a web page reflected in your eyes, James.
Scottish troublemakers. Oh my
I would
God.
also say the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Commission Officer Corps.
Really roll.
Really?
Say that
off
like
the
you
top.
know
Wow.
it, James.
I forgot because the Surgeon General is literally the head
This
of a.
this guy
of a
reads off a
branch.
card.
But
It's
I don't think the
true.
Surgeon General wears a uniform.
There are no rules,
The other-
therefore
He
2
doesn't have
points
to
to
wear a
James.
uniform.
The other 2 lesser known, oft forgotten members of the uniformed services of the U.S. Public Health Service Commission Corps and National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Commission Officer Corps, which is a heck of an acronym.
Yeah, they're the ones who
Wow.
control the weather beams that
Mm.
that change the weather so that people win
James,
elections.
Nice.
James, what's our score right now?
Our score is
Our score.
Our score.
the scores. Team 2 has 2 points.
Mhm.
James has 2 points.
Mm.
Team
Anyone-
1 has 6
Anyone's
points.
game. All right.
I think there's a strategy to
Team
playing this
one.
game that I may have mistaken.
There is a
for
strategy.
copy.
You'll notice that many of the things about 7 have up to 7 options for them
Right,
and are
which
worth
means 7
significantly
points.
more than the
Seven-
category. There is
More to
know.
steal,
possibly the only element of strategy in this game, and several people, it took them multiple rounds to figure that out.
Well, more to
So-
steal though too is the thing. It's a little
So-
bit of a Family Feud situation.
So
Yeah,
I think
so
we
it-
go back over to is it Team 2
Team two?
Yeah.
gets a chance.
Team Prime.
In order to maintain control of the board, you had to get all of them. So Team 2.
That
I see.
oh,
Good to know as
I
well.
didn't realize that controlling the board was part of the game. So
No, this is all we learn things.
Was that in the first one?
Every
I-
round.
I use a
new-
lot of words that
wrinkle.
make it sound like there's a structure that they
So
Look, I just-
basically, this entire game is the crazy round, is what I'm hearing.
I would, you know what? I wouldn't focus too much on the words I say.
Listen, I just learned the tallest mountain in Africa and the length of the Grand Canyon, so I'm primed for whatever comes up.
Is it the same number conveniently?
It is not amazing.
So you
How is
learned
that a
two
fact?
numbers
I
today.
learned two things.
I know we
Oh.
don't take this too seriously, but I feel like, Glenn, you should not have Wikipedia open while we're playing the game.
No, this was this is recently, not at the moment.
Oh, okay.
It's impressive that he still remembers it.
Anthony, I'm reading all of Wikipedia all the time.
He's downloaded it to his brain.
All right, we
secret
would like this round. We would like to go with 7 because
7.
clearly that's how we get more than 2 points.
C,
All
7.
right.
Exclamation
Fingers
point.
crossed. Anyways, and now I'm gonna totally like
Punto de exclamazione.
ruin.
Let me just
it, but let's go.
cross out the ones that we've already done, so I don't read you any questions
Oh
I've
no!
already
Feel
done.
free to
before.
read
That's
them
okay.
again. Not that I remember the
I'm
answers
fascinated
to
about
the
this.
Let's just
previous
do
round, but
greatest
it's fine. You
hits.
can ask me
I'm
again.
fascinated by this NOAA uniform force. I want to know all about them.
Well,
now.
you can all do some research on that afterwards and write some fan fiction about them.
Here's-
I'm sort of
So-
imagining explaining that. Sorry, go
Took a
ahead.
turn.
All
I
right.
don't want to interrupt the game. I just had,
chaos.
an image.
I'm really glad that I'm not in charge of keeping score anymore. Team 2. There are 7 countries in Central Asia with the suffix stan.
Oh,
Name as many of them as you can.
I'm a stan, so this should be pretty good.
Yeah, go, Glenn.
All right, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan. Wait a second, those are the easy ones. Not Mongolia. That doesn't end in stan.
Nope.
Wait a second. Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan, Azerbaijan. Shoot, I have 3 and I stalled.
You're
Kathy-
willing to list countries
Kathy-
that clearly do not list
Uzbekistan.
Yeah,
I'm going.
Uzbekistan.
I'm doing
And-
regional.
and
Tony,
I'm concerned.
Tony, did you win Jeopardy? Let me tell you how I work.
Did
Let me
you?
tell how I work.
He always pull this out when he.
Did I win Jeopardy? Somehow. I'm going regionally. So.
Oh, okay. This is
Uzbekistan.
clockwise.
Correct. Let's keep watching the clock. Wait, what do we got? Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan. Let's see.
You've already
One
you
more.
said that
You've
twice.
already
just-
said,
Wait,
yeah,
Wait, which ones did I say?
Kazakhstan.
Okay, I'm going
Kazakhstan.
to write these down.
Kazakhstan.
No,
I hope
this is great
I've
because
got
I
one
believe
chambered
that
up.
Glenn.
I'm waiting.
I believe that Glenn
Kyrgyzstan-
has.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kazakhstan
Kyrgyzstan
and
Glenn has this
Kyrgyzstan.
in his head.
Yeah, I'm
the
just
problem is
listening.
that he
He's
is
trying to
Glenn.
liz it, but unfortunately,
on the
he doesn't.
outside, there's a thick coating of Glenn that is blocking
There's a-
the information from getting.
I'm trying to
out.
Lizistan this.
Yeah.
I want to say I know Azerbaijan is the people, though, isn't it? As Uzbekistan.
Azerbaijanistan.
So close, Glenn.
Kazakhs. The
You're missing a very
I think I
obvious
got the
one.
4. Kathy, any guesses there?
I mean, Afghanistan was the one that I knew, so we've got that covered.
Pakistan, Gali.
Yeah.
Who's
Did you
back?
say? Did we say Did you say?
Oh, Pakistan. Pakistan. There we go.
Okay.
That's 5.
5.
What else is around there in the region? There's Afghanistan of the mountains. We got I
It's
think I
all
may.
mountains, Glenn.
I think
All mountains.
I gotta rein you in.
Yes, please.
Kathmanduistan.
Team 2.
Please. Okay.
Uh,
I think
okay.
I'm
You got
comfortable
5.
with our
I'm
5.
Good. I am too. Okay.
Can you are you capable of reading those 5 out in a coherent list?
Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
Yes, that one. Afghanistan, Pakistan,
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan.
All right, that is 5
Woo!
points for Team 2.
I
Team
feel
1,
pretty
I
good
believe
about
there
that.
are two stands out there in the wilderness. Can you name 2 additional
Stan
stands,
and the
or at least
possibly
one of
more.
them?
Well,
Now,
Turkmenistan is one.
Hindustan? Is that still a
Oh, does that still
country?
exist?
I'm not actually sure. I
I
feel
don't
terrible now
know.
because I don't actually, I don't
Oh,
actually remember if that's
Anthony, when I was in college, I asked the dean of my college, is a Russian history expert, and I said something about I don't know, what was Leningrad called, and I said I used the wrong name of it, and I said, when did the name change? And she said 60 years ago, and walked off. But I'd been studying German so intently from the World War II period, I didn't know. There you
And
go.
also, Leningrad
So-
has changed back and forth with St. Petersburg at least twice over the course of the 20th
Right.
century. So,
Right.
you know,
So those are your answers, Turkmenistan and Hindustan?
I'm sure
can't
Hindustan's
think of
wrong,
the
and I
last one.
apologize to anybody.
I'm so sorry,
World.
Unreservedly apologize.
Sorry for our
All right, that is
geographical
1 point to Team 1. Anthony, late breaking news. The country of Hindustan is now known as by the little up and coming country. You may have heard of them, India.
Sorry.
They're doing
I feel better
quite
about
well.
St.
Great.
Petersburg now.
There's at least a couple people that live there.
You
You
might know some
know,
of them.
I'm gonna order
it's
Hindustan
just
food for
really great
later.
that somebody from the United Kingdom made that choice.
Well, but
Just-
joking
just-
aside, that's probably why, because of our, oh god,
Rich
Just
history
stop
of
digging.
empire.
Because
Is that what you're
Britain-
saying? Yeah.
All
Well,
the
because
textbooks still,
Empire.
all the text they couldn't afford newer textbooks. They all say Hindustan in them when they were growing up.
All right.
But even more so,
What's-
there's one
what's the-
last country that none of us could
What
think
is
of.
it?
look, Rhodesia still existed when I was at school.
Oh,
Okay,
Jesus
I mean,
The one that went unnamed was Tajikistan.
Oh,
Ah!
Tajikistan.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's what I was getting confused
Yeah.
about.
That is a
Where my
country
brain
that I've
pan?
definitely heard of.
You
Right.
did mention a number of countries in that area. I feel
James,
okay
score
about that.
update for us.
The scores are an amazing 7 points to each team.
Ooh,
Seven or seven.
7 or 7.
For James.
Well, I think, let's see. Usually I would let the underdog go first. Who picked last
Well,
time?
team
It
1
was-
hasn't gone the second time.
All right. Team 1, 7 or
So
C.
fair. So fair.
bless
I
you.
know. I'm sorry.
No, no.
Yeah,
really,
it sounded
like,
good that you were
not
7 each,
behind.
but you
I
are.
thought- I
Yeah,
thought that.
we still haven't
Very
done
Team 1,
our round.
7 or C.
I
do you
feel like
think?
we should. I feel like we should take a C just to even things out.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So lasers, you have entered the light round. Not the lightning round.
Not light round.
the
Okay.
light round. For as you
Light
know, the
round.
lowercase c is used to represent the speed of light in various physics equations. So, traveling at the speed of light, I would like to know how long it takes to travel between various destinations. I will be accepting close enough answers based on this.
I was
I
told there
assume-
would be no math.
There's no math. There's just
For physics,
numbers.
for that matter.
So let's see. James has probably already Googled this. James, you want the answers just in case?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Hold on.
Make sure and send them to all of
Um,
us, please. Thank you.
You're right. Just
No.
sit right
I'm
away.
not a mess.
I've read
All right.
Hitchhiker's
No,
Guide.
you're
I know
doing
how far
great.
away
Good
Barnard
job.
All
Star
right.
is.
So,
So-
this was team 1. Team 1. Wait, no, this is team 2. Who is
No,
No,
it?
team
team
one.
one.
Team one.
Goes
Yeah.
second.
Team C.
You're the one.
Team
Can I
Alpha.
just state for the record that you are the one that made this confusing, so
Hmm.
none of us get blamed for it.
I
We're
like to
Team
think of you as
Unicorn.
individuals and not numbers, but please, all of your answers in this round should be in the form of a number. So I am going to give you a range of distances. Let me just tell you, these are in increasing order. I think I'll give them to you all at once because that's going to make it harder for you. So I want to know how long it will take you traveling at the speed of light to travel from the Earth to the Moon, the Earth to the Sun, 1 light year, 1 parsec,
Oh,
and from Alpha Centauri to the Sun. So that is 5 different distances. We will be using the Tony and James good enough system of determining if you were right or not. In that, I don't need you to be spot on. That would be amazing. But probably I don't know, using the right units at least would be pretty good. So
Okay,
team,
so
go for it.
so
Start
this
off
is
with
how-
why don't you start off with from the Earth to the Moon.
Earth.
so
traveling
this
at the
is
speed of
how
light.
long? Right. How long
This
light
would be.
takes to
I am
reach-
looking for a number that represent and a unit that represents time.
Right. Well, the moon is. That's got to be like.
It's in
Can't
the
be,
sky. It's up.
I'm going to say it's between 1 and 2 seconds at the most, because the moon isn't much more
Oh,
than
hey,
186,000 miles away, is it?
point of order. Can we give separate answers when they're done
Yes.
that are closer? And if we're closer, we win the
Oh my
answer.
God.
Okay. Let's wait.
Let's find out if yeah.
Let's see how much we crash and burn before you
Yeah.
destroy it.
No, I just no. I mean,
No,
at
we're
the end
gonna
of the,
crash
Before
burn.
we
at the end of the
then
round.
like stop hyping our team up. for us to come in and like have like worse numbers. I'm
I've
just
made a
saying.
special study of things that are distant. So,
Mm.
all right.
Special
Okay,
study.
So
Earth to the moon.
Earth to the moon, I'm going to say 1 second.
I mean,
I'm not sure if the moon is even 186,000 miles away from the Earth, and if it is, it's not much more than that.
Right. It's in the ballpark.
Yeah.
I
The sun
mean-
is 8 minutes, I believe, isn't it?
I don't know offhand.
It's
I'm out
It's
of my
either
depth.
It's either 7 or 8
afraid.
minutes, so I'll say 8. A light year is a year.
Right.
That's
I think. Yeah.
I'm pretty
Right.
confident about
That's
that one.
so that's a gimme, right?
Yeah.
And then what was the other one? Alpha Centauri? What were the
Well,
last
wait.
two?
A parsec,
and
and
then
then
Alpha.
Alpha
Oh,
Centauri.
Parsec and Alpha Centauri.
And just to be fair, Alpha Centauri to the sun, not Alpha Centauri to the Earth. To make
Oh.
thank you for that.
Oh, all right.
clarification.
Thanks.
40.
That's helpful.
Wow. All right.
That's a different thing.
So
Ah.
Alpha Centauri is
And these are increasing distances. I gave you that.
Right.
So
So
Yeah.
Parsec is less than Alpha Centauri. Parsec
right.
is oh god.
Alpha Centauri. Is that 4 light years away, or am I thinking of a different star?
I don't know.
Okay, well let's
out
say
of my-
that then.
I'm good. I'm letting you lead on this, Anthony, because I'm
All right.
I'm feeling out of my depth.
I think it's 4 light years away, but I might be thinking of
I
something.
mean,
else.
I'm not
A
going to argue with
parsec
you.
Is I mean, there are 13 of them in the Castle Run. I know that, but how long it takes to travel depends whether you have a guidance computer.
thank you for the Kessel Run. I thought I'd had to bring in Dan for that. Huh.
An
All
extra
right.
point for that.
Depends whether you have a guidance
Team
computer
one,
with
I think
attitude.
I think
Wait.
you've clearly got some points. I'm going to ask you to lock those in sooner rather than later. Anthony?
All right, so yeah, 1 second, 8 minutes, 1 year, parsec, let's say 2 years, and then Alpha Centauri 4 years.
All right.
Sure.
I'm going to consult with my judge, who is also the scorekeeper. James, how you-
Well, are we going to let the other teams undercut them, or are we going to just judge them on what they have?
I think we have to judge them on what they have.
Well, I'm going to give them 4 points because they were
All right.
very close.
Very close on 4 out of the 5 distances.
Yeah.
yes.
So we. Yes.
Yeah.
Should we?
All right.
Will I read out the ones that they got right?
Yeah, why don't you read out the ones they
Yeah.
got right? Jim?
So moon to the Earth, 1.3 seconds. You said 1. Close enough.
Pretty
close
damn
enough.
close.
Pretty close.
Sun to the Earth would have accepted 1 AU, but also 8.3 minutes.
AU
what
is
AU
a
is a
distance.
distance.
Not,
Speaking
not a
AUs.
measurement of
No,
time.
it's a
The gold
anyway, never
standard.
mind. I was 1 light year is indeed a year.
1 year.
And
Even I do that.
Parsec, no one knows yet.
Alpha
And-
Centauri to the Sun, 4.2 years. So you
All
said
right.
4.
So that's 4 points. That's good work, Team 1. Team 2, what are your feelings about parsecs and
What-
how long it
what
takes
was
to
the-
travel?
What was their answer for parsec? I'm sorry.
They didn't give one.
Oh, they give one.
No, we
No,
did.
I
I said
believe
2
No,
we
we
years.
did.
Okay, you
2
gave
years.
a wrong one. So I
Okay.
discounted
Yeah.
it.
Okay,
It's
so-
forgotten
Just
from my
discounted it
memory.
completely.
So I think game theory, we need to say 3 years
I
because
agree.
it wasn't 2. It's more than a light year, and it's less than the 4 for the parsec or for
What's
the
Alpha Centauri is what 4 point what?
4.
4 point. Yeah, I'll go with 3.
Three.
3 with you. Yes.
Okay.
3.
Okay.
All right, James, how do we feel about 3?
I am prepared to accept that it was 3.26. So 1 point to
Well
team
done.
2.
All right. Good job, James. Score
A
update?
lifetime spent with with popular astronomy and watching the sky at night every month, clearly not entirely wasted.
The good,
Well,
the
I
good news is
appreciate your
was,
saving our bacon on that one.
I was wrong on the moon. I thought the moon was 8 seconds, and then as you said the distance, I was wrong because I was thinking about relay satellite time
Mm.
because I've been
Right, and the
studying.
fact that
Of
we
course,
can bounce
that's too
lasers
long.
off it for
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has to go
I
through
hate
the
when that happens all
L2
the time.
points.
Yeah.
Me
so.
too.
I'm going to start deducting points if people don't stop talking.
Yeah, stop making us learn
wow,
other
holy
Only
useful
so we
things.
Power
deduct
play.
until
A
morale
peace
improves.
scorekeeper.
I am drunk with power.
Or something.
Team 2 has a close second of 8 points, and Team 1 has 11 points.
Was that the end of a round though? It was.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the end of this.
There is but a
Okay.
single 7 question and a single C question left on the board. Do we go back to Team 2 for the chance to pick?
Yes. 'Cause
7
we're the
or
behind,
C?
right? We're beyond.
Seven
Since
or
we're the
C.
behind one.
Certainly
We're gonna do seven.
Yeah, 7.
All right. I will tell you, I spent a while looking for this one because
Uh-oh.
I wanted to find one that I thought would be particularly challenging to the incomparable panel
good.
participants.
Oh, great. Because the other ones were so easy.
In her 2008 song, 7 Things, Miley Cyrus lists 7 things she
Oh.
dislikes about her ex-boyfriend. Name those 7. Or as many as them you can. Even if you're unfamiliar with this song, I feel like you may be able to
Miley
infer some
Cyrus.
things one might dislike about one's ex and put
Please
in a
send
song.
me the answers.
So they don't begin with C though, right? They all begin with there's 7 things.
They do not. There are
It'd be
7
funny
of them.
if they were
This is the
7 and
round.
C.
That's right.
You picked 7. James, you don't know this?
What do you want to say?
It's not in my oeuvre, no.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Hair,
Sad.
face, voice, music,
How many light years is
Body
Miley
odor.
from her ex-boyfriend?
Less than 1.
appearance,
Roughly 0.
cruelty. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm
She was
trying.
she was quite young then, right? So it was an early boyfriend.
I mean, I think it's within the last couple of years.
If you could
so-
sing these, there's a potential eighth point.
Wait, what's the?
Available.
You said 2007
If you
or
could
17?
sing them.
I said 2008,
Oh, 2008. Oh,
okay.
yeah. So she was like,
but I appreciate your commitment to inserting 7 in places it does not belong.
she was like 17 then, probably.
I think a little older, but
Really? But I'm very old.
you have
Yeah.
not named any things yet, technically.
I threw some stuff out there. Hair, face, eyes, teeth, appearance.
Sans
Oh
eyes,
God.
sans teeth, sans.
I can
Cyrus.
tell you have 0 points. So
I-
far.
There's,
Okay.
oh, Jesus,
No,
well,
technically that's unfair, but also
All
what
right.
I mean, what are they doing?
what is
I
she
used to love you for your teeth, and now I hate you for your teeth.
Well,
The
I just
classic,
I
think-
know.
classic
It's gonna
country
be-
song.
face annoys me. Beard.
Your appearance offends me. That's clearly it.
Your beard is weird.
Okay.
From,
You're not writing the song, Glenn.
That's
Glenn,
no,
I
that's
can't be the first person to tell you that you are the worst teenage pop star I've ever met.
Oh my god.
that line is from the classic 1960s song. But Alice was fond of Algernon. There is no wondering.
It's not the song we're
then
looking for,
proceed-
Glenn.
Then
Yeah.
proceeds to list a number of things that are wrong with him. His beard is weird. His voice. So forth.
Okay.
I feel like they're stalling a little bit. Yeah.
feel like
No,
Kathy's
you would
losing
think
a
they're
little bit.
stalling. This is just Glenn.
Yeah, this is
It's Glenning.
welcome to
Okay, I
Glenning.
see.
The opposite of lizzing. You get farther and farther from the answer. The more
Yeah.
you
All
talk.
right. I think I'm going to need a variety of things that one might dislike about
Kathy,
one's ex.
Kathy, you're my only
Okay.
hope.
So I think I'm gonna go with like
You think voice, not voice? We'd see
clothing, maybe like I don't know, cheating.
personality.
Personality is a
Joie de-
pretty good catch-all.
Like,
So
Joie
good,
de
in fact,
vivre,
I probably wouldn't give
existing.
any credit for it.
Lack of experience with foreign languages.
Inability to play 7 or C.
You know what I really hate
Sorry.
about you is your SAT scores. So, let's get
1400.
real about credit ratings, people.
1,400 things I hate about you. in the
7
ad
things,
system.
people.
1,600.
Kathy or Glenn, go back and forth. I want 7
Okay,
things.
okay.
Final
I'm
answer.
gonna say personality is one of them.
All right,
okay?
personality. That's 1.
family.
Family.
Wow.
Wow. Harsh.
Um,
Glenn, number 3.
guitar playing.
Guitar playing with an apostrophe.
Yep.
Just gonna make note of that. Kathy.
Songs. Like singing.
Songs?
Things that one sings.
the
Just gonna
songs
put
that
that
they've written.
down here. Back to Glenn. We are up to 5. 5th thing that you hate about
Cruelty.
cruelty. Wow. Kathy.
I'm gonna how do I say this in an incomparable way?
I can't wait to hear this.
Me too. I mean, I guess
So-
sex is probably the in bed?
One's love making prowess.
right.
That's how one
Love
might say
making
it.
prowess. He types into the sticky.
Types
Also,
into
I
the sticky.
spelled it
That's
wrong.
good.
Types into the sticky.
That's
Mm,
not
Still use
crazy.
quite-
stickies?
Yeah. Glenn, the final 7th thing that may or may not be listed in this song. God help us.
Cheating. We didn't say cheating, right?
Yeah, cheating.
Cheating.
Say cheating.
All right.
Wow.
This is some judges. I'm having a hard time making sense of this. I am
Don't worry,
thinking,
we are too.
I am thinking maybe 1 point.
Wow.
Which one?
I'll take.
Which one do you think?
I was very generously linking their 7th answer to the 3rd answer. That's too generous.
I mean, it's like I like these people, but
But
Miley and her ex, or Glenn and Kathy.
well, both. But
Yeah.
I didn't write down any of the things they said because I didn't think any of them matched.
Wow.
Whatever.
I'm gonna give them 1 pity point.
Okay.
you know what? I'm totally fine with
And-
any pinpoints.
I feel like
I'm gonna open it up to team 1, but there's a strict time limit in place. Do you have any things that you might think are in this song, keeping in mind it's a song and all the things that Kathy and Glenn said were bad?
Attitude towards late stage capitalist labor struggle. I mean,
You gotta rhyme it.
I mean, mine are guesses as well. I mean, I would just say I don't like your face.
Give me
I don't
7 guesses. We're gonna move it along. Face is
Face.
guess 1. Anthony, guess 2.
hips.
Hips.
They're all about the physical.
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, you guys got it. You know, it's not about appearance, it's about deeds and actions. But
Yeah, right.
Shelly,
Is it really?
I have no idea.
I was going to say, to say enter what? Your girlfriend. I don't like your girlfriend.
That's another song.
It was your new
That was Avril
girlfriend.
Lavigne, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right,
another song.
right.
Thank you. Very pop punk. Anthony's goth cred just goes.
Hey, don't knock
Anthony,
Avril
back to
Lavigne.
you.
Game.
Game. All right, Shelly.
Attitude.
Attitude. Back to Anthony.
The way you eat.
The way you eat.
Wow.
And last one.
I
back
don't like
to
your
Shelley.
mom.
Your mom. You know, I feel like you guys are workshopping a promising song here. As far as points
Or at least
on the
one.
board,
Sexual prowess is inadequate,
James.
and I don't like your attitude.
James, do you think there's any points that have been?
I mean, would you
Clearly
say they're friends with their mom?
No.
Then I think they
Friends
have
is good, actually. I
no
should've thought of
points.
No.
All right, allow
Aw.
me to give you the canonical
Please.
7 things that Miley
Please.
Cyrus
Please do.
likes about her
cannot wait.
ex-boyfriend.
Real quick, before you begin, Kate in the
Yeah?
chat has said that she's looking at the lyrics and could not give you the answers too. So just
I will
putting
tell
that
you.
out there.
I
spent
think Tony is better at analyzing.
I spent
know, it's true.
I spent
Miley
some time on
Cyrus.
these. So she doesn't number them. Miley Cyrus, note if you're listening, I'd prefer for future game chef mechanics, you can itemize your lyrics more.
Only if they're
that'll make-
7s or C's, please.
Right.
Yes. Also, yes. Please try and make them only.
If they're
in lists
4s
of
or
7.
W's, we don't care.
Yeah, straight out. So 7 things that Miley Cyrus does not care for about her ex-boyfriend include: you are vain, you are insecure, you love me but you like her, you make me laugh, you make me cry, your friends, they're jerks, and you make me love you.
Oh.
So
Oh.
I think
I
we
would
all
argue a
learned
little
lot.
bit with "you love me but you like her." That is girlfriend. I would say
That was the closest, and yet James
Or
And James said
Cheating?
no.
is that where we got our
That was
point?
I
also
Cheating?
that was the
That was a pretty
yeah.
point.
So I think we all agree that was a choice that Tony made to include this in the
It
game.
was definitely a choice, and I
It was
feel
a
like
choice.
after this stream, I will have some very severe words,
Mm.
but not enough to care. So never.
All right. So I
That was
think
a
this
round
brings
that
us,
exists in our
this
game
is a
show.
thing we did as we run over on time. So I think that brings us back to who are we up to? We are Anthony and
one.
Shelley. You get the choice of C ?
I guess we'll take C, Alex.
Good choice. C is the symbol for the element carbon, the fourth most abundant element in the universe. Name the three most abundant elements in the universe. 3 points on the board, or 3 points available.
The
points
three.
available.
Oh, right. That don't
Most
begin with C.
abundant.
Just the three most
Just
abundant
any
elements.
abundant elements.
This is the carbon wrap.
Yeah.
Hydrogen.
I was going to say
Uh,
oxygen.
I'm not sure if oxygen is actually one of the top ones. Certainly, hydrogen definitely is.
Yeah, I would agree
uh,
with you there.
I feel like I want to say helium, but I'm sure that's not right.
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen, maybe?
Maybe, but I'm with you on hydrogen certainly. God. I mean, if we don't have others, we can go with those because but
I'm
we
just
could
trying
just
to-
Name 3, period.
Yeah. Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry. Did you say elements or gases?
Elements.
I said elements.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Okay. So
That changes everything.
It,
well,
it
it
does
kinda
indeed.
does.
It
actually, yeah.
all.
Right.
I'm not sure how that's changed anything, but
Actually, no. I'm not sure if it does. No.
I'm wondering.
Anything can be a gas if you try hard enough.
Sodium.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's true, but it doesn't really matter so much.
All
That's. I
right.
think that was.
Team one, I think I'm going to ask you to wrap it up. What do you got for me? Final answers.
Should we go with those? I can't. think what
Sure.
else it
Let's.
might be.
Let's. I'm
what'd you
sure we're
get?
missing something super obvious.
Yeah,
Hydrogen, helium, and oxygen were the only three that we.
All
probably.
right.
Well,
out
nitrogen. Nitrogen.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so get
I
rid of
need-
helium.
I need
Or
three
get rid
Get rid
answers.
of oxygen.
All right. So
I think-
helium, nitrogen, hydrogen.
Helium, nitrogen, and hydrogen contains two of the most abundant elements in the
Mhm.
universe.
Mm.
Other team, do you want to get 1 point by naming the missing element? One of those was wrong. I'm not telling you which one.
Well,
Yet.
hydrogen, helium are, I believe, the two most abundant elements in the universe. Because, as you know, we are all made of star stuff. All carbon
That's
was
true.
created in the hearts of stars.
Exactly.
And most heavier elements. I think it might be nickel, Kathy. I think nickel might be common. It's a weird one, I know.
Sorry,
It's
I
a-
made a face there. I shouldn't
Oh.
make faces.
It's a metal, but there's some heavy. There's a what is it? Hydrogen, helium.
You got
Is hydrogen,
Gotta
helium.
move quickly
He
so
does
we can
not
get to
look
the final
convinced.
round of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, let's just go with oxygen.
Is it? Let me think about that. for a
It's
second.
not
Oxygen
nickel.
is,
I
it's
mean,
not nickel.
I'm gonna.
Kathy is standing her
stop
ground on
there.
this.
I may not know for
Kathy,
sure.
I think you should just stick with your guns.
Isn't it? Wait a second. Isn't it methane? No, I'm sorry. That's a whole other thing.
No,
You should stick with your guns.
So,
You
so,
think-
what, we think it, so what we're finding out here is that
Oxygen.
Oxygen as I feel it slowly draining out of the room.
The three most abundant elements in the universe in order are hydrogen, helium, and oxygen.
Shelley, I'm so
Glenn, of course,
sorry.
is
I'm
familiar
so sorry.
with the song that hydrogen is built into helium at a temperature of millions of degrees.
That song is inaccurate. It's lies.
They
Not
updated it.
correct
There's a follow-up song.
Accurate.
They have a follow-up song about
The
how that
sun
song
is a
accurate.
miasma of energetic
Incandescent
plasma.
Yeah.
I think
All
I
right.
fell victim to a factoid. I could have sworn I remembered, like learning that everybody thinks oxygen's abundant, but actually nitrogen is more
I thought
common. and
Control of the
Like,
board
full
continues to
ethics
shift
there.
back and forth as no one is able to maintain. No one has given us a complete answer yet. James, score update as we go into the last question, the final round of 7 or C, possibly the last round we ever run this stupid game.
We're gonna four.
I'm glad I was
He
here for
says
the
that so
end.
hopefully, like we don't have to do this again, do we?
Mm.
I love this game.
What? How many
Kathy
points?
and Glenn have
Kathy-
scraped into double figures with 10,
Mhm.
and Anthony and Shelley have an extremely probably lucky 13.
All right.
I'm gonna call it lucky. Yes.
Here we go. The challenging thing here is there are many potential points on the board for the final round. Each team could potentially earn as many as 7 points, but I'm going to be very
Whoa.
strict in the
Whoa.
amount of time you are allowed to confer on before submitting
Got that, Glenn?
final answers.
I'm sorry. I
So
can't hear
our
you.
final
There's a
round
time delay here.
is 7 seasons.
Oh,
We may only observe 4 seasons, but 7 seasons of a TV show used to be that sweet spot
Oh
for
my God.
syndication and rerun. I am looking for at least 7 shows that lasted exactly
Oh,
7
Jesus
seasons.
Christ.
I have a list of
Oh.
potential right answers here. James will help me out with some fact checking. I am going to allow Team 2, you are down. You get to go first. You get a very short amount of time to potentially brainstorm and then submit up to 7 shows that are exactly 7 seasons. Not more, not less.
We have to do them all
7.
at once. It's not alternating. We have to do boom, boom, boom.
You're going to have to do boom, boom, boom. You're already wasting your time with that question.
Well, Cheers went on forever, so it's not that. Do you have any ideas for
We have
You
ruled
okay?
out Cheers, ladies and
The Good
gentlemen.
Place?
Still
Okay.
on the board, all other television shows.
Barney Miller.
in
I'm trying to think of
human
anything that's
history.
exactly 7
Oh my
seasons.
gosh.
Buffy,
Okay.
Frasier.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
That is
Buffy.
exactly
Yep.
7 seasons.
Yep.
All
We'll
right.
do that.
fine.
Buffy. We'll do
That 70s show, didn't they have 7 seasons? Because I
sure,
stopped
we'll go
watching
with that 70s show.
it. Okay.
We'll go with House. We'll
Oh, yeah.
go with
Grey's Anatomy's been on forever, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
no,
not
Grey's Anatomy
ER.
just started their 19th season. We're fine.
Jeez,
We're
okay.
fine,
Wow,
Grey's.
that's so you knew that. 19 FC. Oh my God, 7 seasons. Frasier, was Frasier on more than 7?
Sure,
All
we'll
right.
go with Frasier.
All right, I think I'm going to go back and forth with you, and you get to give me your final answers. We'll
Okay.
go back and forth. And James, you ready to Google some stuff really quick?
Yeah, I'm working on that.
All
yes.
right. So I will record them here. Team 1, first answer for 7 shows that went 7 seasons exactly.
Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Whoa, wait. Oh,
wait,
We
what?
said Team
That's
One.
Team 1.
To Team
oh,
One.
haha. Team 2, you can't use
Oh.
that one.
Can't have that one. It's mine.
That's fine. I would never have thought of it, even though it's
Everything is
That's
great.
fine.
Oh, so
Team-
we're supposed to do our final answers?
Team 2, give me your final answers.
Buffy
Are
the
we-
Vampire Slayer.
We're able to give multiple.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just gonna have you go back and forth for
Okay.
Okay, so
House.
Buffy,
so that we get exactly
House.
House.
that
Got
70s
it.
show.
But
That's 7. Yeah.
Kathy,
Home Improvement.
Glenn,
Frasier.
Kathy,
Saved by the Bell.
Glenn,
Facts of Life.
and I think that was 7 submissions.
Sure.
All right.
None of them
Um,
had except Buffy.
We'll reveal the answers to those in a second.
okay.
Team 2, or as I like to think of you, Team
No, they're Team 1. Yes, thank you.
Can you tell that I've been talking into a microphone for almost
For
3
a little
hours
while.
today?
Wow.
Everything is
never tell.
great.
Never tell.
Everything is awesome.
Team 1,
Yay.
I'm going to give you a roughly 30 seconds to converse, and then we're going to go boom, 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 back and forth, 7 shows as they similar to them. So converse amongst yourselves.
All right. Well, you said next gen. You sounded
I
very
said Next
confident
Gen.
about that.
Also, Voyager. Yeah, isn't that 7 also?
Oh, okay. I'll take your word for it. I don't know.
And Mary Tyler Moore Show and golly,
Magnum. Didn't
help
that
me
hit
with the
7
American shows. I don't know, but let's go with Magnum. Why not?
Okay.
Also,
Night
maybe like, huh?
Knight Rider hit 7 seasons.
I can't
Ba-
imagine that it did, but probably I
don't
don't
think
know.
so. Oh,
mean-
Baywatch might have though.
Yeah, let's
Thinking
go
of-
with Baywatch.
Thinking of the Hoff.
Yeah.
ER?
No, I bet that was longer.
Okay.
I would say maybe one of the Newhart shows. I'm not sure whether Bob Newhart. I'm going to say the Bob Newhart show, not the later one, but the first one. The Walt. No, not the Waltons. That was 9 seasons. Why do I know that? Don't ask.
Married with Kids. Married with Children. Sorry. it was
That's a
called,
good
wasn't it?
guess. Married with Children.
All
yeah.
right, Team 1, you have brainstormed
Sure.
a variety of things. You ready to go back and forth and give me your final answers
Sure.
for
Sure.
7 shows for 7 seasons? Who's ready to go first?
I'll go Star Trek: The Next Generation.
All right, Anthony.
I'll say Magnum.
Magnum PI, or is there another Magnum?
Yeah,
It's the only Magnum
No,
I'm
no,
aware
Magnum.
of.
The only Magnum
There
that
is
counts.
only one.
Back to you, Shelley.
Star Trek Voyager.
Anthony.
I'll guess Baywatch.
Back to you, Shelley.
Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Back to you, Anthony.
I'll guess Married with Children.
And I believe final submission for Shelley.
The Bob Newhart Show.
All right. We are feeding these into the Jamestron
James
3030.
computer.
Thank you for being here,
42,
James.
surely.
This would be a lot harder to do with just
About the
me.
Jamestron.
I created a list of about 15 shows. You managed to pick several that were not on my
I
list.
thought you were going to say none of them.
Hooray!
It'll be exciting to see.
You picked
whether-
incomparable friendly shows. I just went.
It'll
off
be
the-
exciting to see
yeah.
whether you pick those because they were right or because they were not right. I'm continuing to stall as James does math until he looks up
Just
and gives me
vamp
a
for a little bit
thing.
more.
Let's all talk about some of our
Buffy the
favorite
Vampire Slayer.
things that start with 7 or C. There's
I like the
cacti,
the
there's
oratorio, the PDQ box thing, the seasonings, which is Open Sesame. It's got By the Leaks of Babylon, in such familiar numbers. No,
I feel like the
Does anybody know
age
what
of
she's
7
talking about?
PDQ
No
box.
idea. I like to just kind of
Anthony,
yeah,
usually we're more
and then
more
talk
polite
about
than
something
that.
else.
PDQ Bach, the Peter Shickley, who spent decades doing classical parodies under the guise of the youngest forgotten child of Bach. No, it doesn't. I mean, it's very popular.
Wow, those
He's
are
okay.
definite
That was-
words.
that
He
was
did
like
a con-
that
he
was
did a concert.
Glenn
Shickley did a
Fleischman
concert at
Mad
radio,
Libs.
at
This could be a whole other game show that only Glenn
Carnegie
wins.
Hall every
Yeah,
year. He was
the
popular.
second game of Glenning.
Nobody
feel
knows
like-
PDQ Bach. That's amazing to me.
Bless you, Glenn.
Yeah.
I'm also
Still-
googling stuff to help James.
He wrote
That's okay.
wrote an operetta
I mean-
called
So much Googling.
Iphigenia in Brooklyn, which is pretty good.
I like the 7 Seas. Sailing the 7 Seas. Isn't that like
All right,
as a pirate?
James. I don't know if it helps. I've done all the Team 1 answers.
I have also done. Oh no, you've done team 1. Okay. Well,
Yep, and you've done Team 2.
I've done team 2.
Oh, Goombay
All
Dance
right.
Band, 7
Uh,
tiers.
Let us reveal one by one. So, first answer from Team 2, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. James.
That is correct.
Yay! We have 1
House.
point.
That is incorrect. 8 seasons.
Mm.
Ooh,
Which one was that?
House.
House.
Oh,
Close though, very good.
That 70s show.
That 70 show was also 8 seasons.
Oh, dang it. Well, I didn't watch the 8th one. So there you go.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement was 8 seasons.
Dang it.
So many 8
jeez.
season shows.
wow.
Pretty sure.
8 or E will be the next game.
I'm pretty sure. I'll
No,
double check.
Frasier.
Frasier.
Not
Frasier.
pretty sure. Frasier.
Yeah. 11 seasons.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much
Way off.
Wow, that's too many.
Saved by the Bell.
That was 4 seasons.
And
they made
Facts
700
of
episodes a
Life.
season.
Facts of Life was 9 seasons.
I'm very proud of us, Kathy, that we got so close on so
We
many
got
of
a
those.
lot of really close. So
High
high
All
five.
right. So by my count, you got
orbited.
1 point for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
All right.
So it's a little bit academic at this point, but let us just check Anthony and Shelley's answers. You said Star Trek: The Next Generation. Correct. Classic 7-season show. Magnum PI, 8 seasons. Star Trek Voyager, also 7 seasons. Also Star Trek
Oh.
Deep Space Nine, another quality Star Trek show. Baywatch, 11 seasons apparently.
No, so much
Mary
more.
Tyler Moore, correct, 7 seasons.
Oh, good. okay.
Married with Children, 11 seasons, and The Bob Newhart Show, only 6 seasons. Other
Oh.
shows on my list that I put together that I thought you would pick that
Castle?
you did not. The Golden Girls, West
Really?
Wing, Mad Men, Game of Thrones, True
Oh,
Blood,
Mad Men. I
Burn
would've done
Notice,
that.
Star Wars, Clone Wars, Rules of Engagement, don't know what that is. Parks and Rec, Malcolm in the Middle, and in fact, literally
Would've done
aside
one
from,
of those.
from Star Trek and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I was not able to predict any of the shows that you predicted.
I just
So,
thought,
I
was
believe-
Castle 7 seasons? I should have remembered.
Did you say that? That was not on the list.
No, no,
You just
no,
asked
but
me
I-
trivia now?
Just asking.
Yeah.
I asked the questions here.
You're out of order. You're out of order.
I don't know. Does anyone know?
No
let's-
idea.
Is this just ask James to Google things?
I won't Google it
I'm-
for you.
We're
why
being
not?
honest and not touching browsers. Clearly.
All right. Castle is 8 seasons. There, I
Eight
Googled
seasons.
it.
Oh, okay.
You
Right.
happy? This is how
See that-
beholden I am to you people.
Okay,
now.
so what we have learned now.
That was your
is-
prize. As
A or
for
D.
winning 7 or C, I have Googled one thing for you live on the podcast. Thank you so much for playing this. We'll never do it again. I think I'm gonna go eat
How
some
many times has he
Thanksgiving
said that?
dinner.
At least 7.
Yeah.
Or CC.
Anthony.
Do you
Anthony
want the
Johnson,
final
thank you for
scores?
being here.
No,
Oh,
we
oh.
don't need to know our.
I think
our-
you need to know.
Let's
Yes,
hear them.
no.
James, I'll ask you the final scores on your turn.
Okay.
Shut up. Anthony Johnston, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tony, for managing this madness.
Managing? Is this managing? This is what managing looks like.
Is Tony my manager?
Kathy Campbell, thank you for being a last minute. Thank you for being available.
Yeah, I guess you're welcome.
Yep. Glenn Fleischman, always something.
Always something. I'll be back for 30 and Z, please.
Oh no, no promises. Shelley Brisbane, you came back. That was a mistake, but it's a thing you did.
Hooray for me. Thank you.
James Thompson, you figured out the final score because you were compelled to by the math inside your head. I'll let you say them now as your parting goodbye.
Kathy and Glenn got 11 points, and Anthony and Shelley got 16 points.
Wow. Quite a showing.
But the true
Well,
winner
everybody-
is Tony, who
That's
never has
right.
to do this again.
Tony is our
Hey,
winner.
Tony.
Live stream bootleg. This is
Tony.
it. I've been talking into a mic since several hours ago, and I'm going to fall apart very soon. Thank you for listening. Thank you for playing along. I hope you were entertained. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.